Oh my God, we're live on the internet.
What?
It's happened. We're here. We've arrived. Good evening. Good evening, my friends. Yeah, hold on to your hats.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even wear a hat.
I thought that was mandatory. Merch. We got to get merch soon. Huh?
Yeah.
I should have merch. We have all this like dope Sean Yannell art. There should be like Raya t-shirts and waffle coffee mugs and like. But
I'd buy a Philly fam hat.
oh wow. Philly fam even. Lucky for me, I do have a graphic designer that like is on all of my shows and has now got like a job that gives her a little bit more time. So I have to like get Taylor hustling on the graphic designing of merch soon.
That's why you've just been like fostering Taylor's growth so that eventually she can make you merch. It's not been, anything else.
Let's start.
This has been the plan,
emojis, right? Let's get some emojis in the channel, and then we'll get emojis on the merch.
The emojis. Right? I just was talking about this today. The stuff like the bits, the emojis. I see Bugbear in the chat. Bugbear is like so helpful. And yesterday gave us, or on Sunday, gave me a bunch of gift subs and was like, "Hey, you didn't have a donate button. Like this is the only way I have to support you. So now I have a donate button. So for anybody out there who wants to like donate or tip me or whatever, this is my full-time job. I do this now. Not just this. I run private games. I podcast a little bit. I do a bunch of stuff. But yes, I guess I'm a content creator. So yeah, every little bit helps. Thank you guys all who are like hanging out in the chat, just watching us being here makes a big difference for me. But all that little stuff. So yeah, these last like 8 months I've been like really prioritizing. Like I want to run good D&D, like the art, the maps, the players, the characters, the worlds. But I need to like focus in on the actual Twitch stuff a little bit more. And like I have a stream deck here that I'm like not using effectively. There could be dope music playing right now, drama. We all love music, all that good stuff. Emotes, like I have a whole like bunch of stuff like ready to like build emotes. I just got to do it. So we'll see what happens in the next few weeks.
If it's a choice between building emotes and building adventures for us to play, I will take building adventures for us to play at all times.
Yeah.
So Slack, as much Slack as one needs, give it. But I'm very excited for a waffle emoji when the time comes.
That's what
I feel
I'm saying.
Like that needs to be the first one.
Waffle is like mandatory. I think I get 3 automatically. Like waffle's one of those 3. There's no doubt.
I'm very sorry to like everybody else in this campaign who doesn't get nearly as much love as my like mechanical dragon.
Yeah. I love waffle.
Yeah, your mechanical dragon like rides the lightning and stole everyone's thunder. So don't worry about it. He's adorable. You escaped your box, but you got better. I bet I could fix that. Let me just fix that before it gets like completely out of control. Oh no, box escaping.
Okay. I think it was fine. I think my internet was just unhappy for a minute.
Yeah, it'll happen.
I've been trying to upload my audio for a podcast to Google Drive for like an hour, and it is also unhappy. So.
For audio.
Sometimes it fights, right?
Yeah. It's fine. It was not 3 hours yesterday.
While you do that, I will say to the people watching us, if you see me randomly putting on sunglasses or dabbing my eyes today, I apologize, but here's the explanation. I've got like an allergy thing going on. I can play, I can listen, I can maybe do a voice, I don't know. But if the lights become overwhelming, I might just have to, throw the sunglasses over the regular glasses and be that guy.
I really wish you hadn't said anything and just done it.
I know, but I just can't I can't handle like the one person 6 months from now who's going to be like, who does he think he is being so badass wearing sunglasses on Twitch?
Just gonna make a fake Twitter account and set a tweet to go out.
I said 6 months from now. Come on, Grant.
I know.
Grant me some grace here.
Okay, I think I have trapped you within the confines of the box, Melissa. We'll see. But your power knows no bounds, so we'll see what happens. Cool. So how's everybody doing? It's Tuesday night. What's going on? The week's like sliding along all right for everyone here?
This week has been like slow. Like I feel like it should be the end of the week already, and I keep being like, "Oh no, it's just Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Yeah, it's just Tuesday today."
Yeah, I had a very busy weekend, so I'm sort of feeling that same energy. We didn't stream last night for any of the Firelight Tales folks. Just scheduling stuff. It's so hard. That particular group, it's tough to get all four of us lined up. That's why we do a 2-hour show. Like, that's the only window all week we can pretty much catch. So there's some plans for trying to catch up and cover a lot of ground there. But yeah, I'm with you, Grace. It feels like an extraordinarily slow week. So.
I ran a play-by-post adventure this past week, so I should be like totally exhausted and everything. But I don't know. I kind of woke up Monday and was like, or Sunday or Monday, and was like, yeah, well, I'm down to run more D&D. I'm down to play, so I'm playing in a marathon game this weekend and running a game on Thursday. So I'm okay.
You're invigorated. I get that feeling sometimes. I'm like having that this week where I have like my list of like little notes of like session ideas. And I spent a lot of time driving on Saturday. And I think that really got me, you know. You like just the time in the car, first of all, right? It's like the static time my brain gets like racing. But you go out into the world and like, you know, you see people, you just see things, you drive past stuff, whatever it is. There were all these like little things that hit me that I was like, oh, yes, this and that and that and this. And now, like, I have more stuff to run than I even know what to do with. I need to, like, run more D&D, apparently, because I have too many ideas. But we'll see. Hopefully I came up with, like, a good one tonight. My fingers are crossed, but we shall see. Cool. Yeah, I don't know. What else? Jake has leveled up. He caught up with everybody else. I think there's going to be a hit point roll happening at some point in the pretty near future.
Yeah, I'm definitely not quickly picking spells. Definitely not doing that.
Oh, no worries. Of course
We
not.
just won't get into combat. That's the goal today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Roll initiative.
looked
Nope,
at
I can't. Sorry, I do not have
We
my
outvoted
spells.
you, DM. We voted no.
Yeah,
There's
really.
not a lot of good second level offensive ranger spells.
True.
Like, you got spike growth, and that's about it.
Yeah.
We'll do it. Got it.
Got it.
I'm just
Jake
sitting
is
here.
Jake is taking locate object. I figure that's appropriate for a smuggler,
Oh yeah.
It is.
That's
Yeah.
pretty
especially like where did I put that?
Also,
Yeah,
like
where-
hunting
where's
down
that?
stuff in space that feels. I mean, granted, 1,000 feet or a mile is like nothing in space, but still.
Still, I if we're like going to a new planet, I often prepare locate object because I'm like, yeah, we might have to be like, we need to find the orb. Like, well, all right, I guess I gotta take it. So it's good to know that Jake.
Don't we have that enhanced thing in our ship?
You have
Isn't
the
one of the things we
Mordekaiser
found?
compass. Yeah, it just popped up the pop-up. But the Mordekaiser
range of 5
compass
miles.
was like this enormous kind of compass that you took, this astral compass that you guys ripped out of the head section of the giant space mech called the Project Mordekaiser. And you got that and the crystal ball, right? And so the two of them can be used in like tandem with one another to amplify the casting of a couple of spells like locate object and creature, locate animals or plants, and the big one is like find the path, which is a really interesting kind of spell. But I don't know, I spent probably too much time conceptualizing what kind of magic would supplement the navigational needs of a spaceship, and I landed like somewhere in here.
It's great.
I don't know.
Grace, are you thinking that if you have locate object, I perhaps shouldn't?
I was thinking it freed me up to not.
Okay.
Yeah, the exact opposite, actually.
Good.
Kurt.
That's because I don't get the range of. It's one less of your plethora of spells that you need to choose amongst because
Yeah.
it's there for me. So
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Troy, you got identify?
Oh,
Do I have identify? No, of course not. Do you?
Great.
Yeah, you have
Then I-
access to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Great. Then I'll keep it.
Let me make sure I don't. I don't think I. Maybe I do. Hold on.
Haven't you
Maybe
been identifying objects?
I have been. Now that I think about it, I do. What am I thinking about?
yeah.
Yes,
I was
I
like,
did
what?
learn identify.
That's why I gave you all the stuff last time.
I'm
And then
sorry.
Doc was like, like,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
also have identify.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
confusing myself. Yes, I have identify. None of the players who were in my PvP last week had identify. That was
Always
it.
get
Would have been
mixed up.
useful.
I was just like, y'all are in a dungeon full of random ass items, and none of you can identify them. This is incredible.
I agonized over it when I made the character, you know. I'm like playing this wizard and I was like, man, identify, like it's such like a mandatory spell to me, but I was also like, I'm like the DM of this space, and so I don't want the responsibility of identifying anything. Like, I do not want to be giving these people items and then having them come to my character to be like, identify this, you know. I was like, nope, it's not doing it.
Well, we were talking to someone the other day about like what they should, what spells they should take. They were like thinking about what they were going to take at their next level, and they're a ranger. And they were talking about taking Pass Without Trace, and I was like, it's really good. The only other thing is that like you might end up in a session where like somebody has it already. So like if you take the when you're the only one who like is supposed to have or like could have it, then you'll miss it. But there'll be a bunch of times when like, yeah, I'm with another ranger who like has it or whatever. Yeah, so it's really interesting in there, the like spell selecting.
Yep, when you're doing like
Well, that was funny in my marathon game when both Lolly and Tycho had Pass Without Trace, and Lolly's like teaching everyone how to be stealthy, and Tycho's like, I'm a shadow monk, I'm good.
Yeah.
Do not need this lesson.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Tycho was great too after the fact. I don't want to dox him, but yeah, he was just like, what did he say? Like, I went along with it. I went along with like the Weasel
Right,
Walk
yeah.
workshop. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to make Lolly feel bad, you know?
Which, are like, town therapist. It was just, it was very sweet.
But yes, to answer your question, Doc, Reginald does have identify. So make of that what you will.
Nice.
Sounds good.
It's nice for the ritual casters. It's so tough though. I was going to say for like all the spell selected classes, your bards, your rangers, your sorcerer. It's so tough to like pick sometimes. Like, I don't know. I just talking to like Zophiel a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, "Oh, sending." They had leveled up to 6, and we're like, "I'm going to ditch sending." And like, what do you think of that? We were going back and forth, and I was like, honestly, like, it's one of those spells that when you want it, like, there's nothing better. You know, it does this one incredibly specific thing, and it's the only thing that does it, and like, it's so good for those moments. But like, yeah, there's a lot of like better options, right? Like different options or whatever. But we went back and forth on it a little bit, and they were like, well, in a West Marches game, is like it really that relevant? It doesn't feel like it comes up a lot. And I'm like, that's fair, but I think that there's like a lot of instances that it is like really useful, if not for like progressing the adventure, then for like the depth of the campaign, right? The like communication and this stuff. And Zophiel was with us in that play-by-post and used sending to like great effect more than once for a couple of like very cool things. So
Absolutely.
I was like really happy to like kind of see that circle back and pay off.
As a DM, I'm always a big fan of sending being in the game because it allows you to connect. It allows the characters to connect to NPCs outside of where they are.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So it can allow you to pull in outside information that they don't have at their disposal. It can allow them to ask for help. Right. In different ways. Like, I love it. So it was
Me
great.
too. I mean, like Kurt can tell you, but in our like home game, in our Forgotten Marches, like Misty Bay game, like I gave them all like sending stones, but it was a set of like 7, you know, and it was a real FU because it was like more than they needed at one point, but then not enough for every player character to have one. So there's like a lot of times where they're like, who's got the extra sending stones? You know? Like, I don't know. I didn't want to go like full Mercer and give them all like the Rary's telepathic bond, but there is that point like late game in a campaign, everybody's like 9th, 10th level, and there's that thing of like, you know, I look at Jake and like give them a knowing look, inferring like you should go around and flank this enemy because I've got this ability, and and then if we tackle them and grapple them, you know, it's that whole like PC language where like we're communicating complex tactics with our eyebrows, you know, and I'm just like, okay, how about let's like just give you all sending, you know?
Yeah. Right. Oh Lord. I'm finally gathering my notes back together. I'm being a good player.
Nice.
Finally doing it.
Cool. I've got a manual right here. I won't tell you which one it is, and a notebook inside of it, and so I am ready. I got textbooks, I got PDFs, I got Roll20 resources. It should be exciting. So, Jake, the level up. I know we have some housekeeping. You've picked your spells. You want to roll hit points?
Yes, I do.
I know. Drum roll. Yeah, Brenna knows. Communicate with the eyebrows. You know the drill. Oh, that was an unfortunate roll. Oh, it's
just
not bad.
slightly less than average, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just not
it's one
awesome.
less.
Yeah. I appreciate your bravery in rolling.
So do I add the 6 to just my max, or can I also add the 6 to my current?
Add the 6 to your max, and then make your current your max, because I think that you all have gotten a long rest.
Hey.
And so I'll ask, like, is there any other just like housekeeping, bookkeeping type stuff that we should tackle before we jump in here?
I think at a certain point we're gonna take a look at. I don't know if we looked at the items that we received, but we can do that in character.
I think so as well. Okay. Cool.
Jake is good.
Okay. Then if we are prepared, I think that we open tonight as often as the camera opens on like this sprawling, vast, starry sky, the black void of space around you, and the Dragonfly, this odd vessel of blue steel and wooden construction, the brass railings up on the upper deck, these large yellow wings trailing down beneath it, and up above, the single mast kind of rising up above it, creating this line as you cut through the stars, humming away, legs tucked up underneath. Your small ship that has served you so well in these past weeks, month. How long have you been at space? I don't know. I should. I'm the dungeon master.
I mean, given that time is often based on the passing of the heavenly bodies at a given point of reference, time is really meaningless when you're a voyager amongst the stars.
But also probably a few weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, both those things. And I think as we watch the Dragonfly cutting along with no massive planets, nor Kinduri space whales, nor disabled mechas, nor strange Ilthilid ships in sight, the lone vessel amidst the sea of stars all around you, I think that we come zooming in, as we often do, kind of like cutting, smashing right through the wall into the ship itself, where we find a lot of you in the cargo bay. I'd imagine, as you often are, there's not a ton of living space in the Dragonfly. Lux at the helm. And so, I say, what's going on? What are you guys up to?
Oh, you know.
Little of this,
Little of that.
I think Reg is perhaps not in the cargo bay at the moment, but may join shortly.
Mhm.
He is reading what he can about the Colossus, about the Colossi, and anything in terms of books that he might have, but ultimately turning to the orb about this Colossus Gump and the truth of his reality.
I'm going to say you're using the orb that was given to you by Ivana, right? In the beginning.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to say make a history check.
Okay. History. Oh, dice rolls. How about that?
Ooh.
26.
So I think that you're becoming practiced navigating the information indexes of the orb, and you're able to pretty quickly get to the information gathered there on the Colossi, as it were. This suggestion that there is this home world that they all hail from is as much of a mystery as it is a fact as you're kind of going through it. This place, Arads, is it's a bit of a myth. Some argue that it was never real, that the Colossus have sort of found each other from the various planets and places that they've traveled from across the stars. But nonetheless, it's very common amongst any colossi that has been met and whose words documented in this orb, that they search sort of eternally for this homeworld. So you wonder whether Gump knew what he was talking about or was merely deeply confused as to the fact that he said he hailed from that place. I think that the information here is not as dense as it is on other subjects, but certainly it's able to confirm to you that by their sheer size, that they're known to be able to travel through space, because their mass alone carries with it an oxygen bubble that allows them to sustain themselves for kind of months at a time, floating through the void when they hurl themselves off objects. But the mitigating factor, of course, being food and the lack of propulsion of their bodies in this kind of gravityless void, right? They're able to heave themselves off solid structures, but that's about it. They're not a particularly warlike race, though they've had place in many wars across the centuries, and they are highly sought after by many of the mercenary guilds operating in the current day. And this is by the information of the orb, which is already old, but you would be able to confirm by your own knowledge that, any of the mercenary companies who are able to conscript a Colossus to join them are significantly increased in terms of their reputation, the formidable strength that they bring to bear and all of it. But yeah, that's the gist. So yeah, as Reggie is sitting probably in one of the actual rooms, the sleeping rooms. What about the rest of you? What's everybody else up to?
I think Rhea would be curious about the items from the bag and potentially hanging out with Doc if Doc is gonna try to identify them.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring Doc was doing, was going through the items and maybe kind of, talking it over with Rhea as she helps cataloging them or something. But yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So, you got one potion of superior healing, which is certainly relevant and pretty straightforward. There was a ring, a long sword, some platinum, the head of the ship, and a bracer, right? A single kind of bracelet that was more of a bracer, really, than a bracelet. So what do you want to start with here, Doc? You talk to me.
Start with the bracer, I guess.
Okay, the bracer.
I hardly know her.
I have woman face bracer. I don't know if that's actually a correct note.
Yeah, it had a. Yeah, it had a face on it, a woman's face on it. Yeah.
Indeed, it does. The bracer, as you are assessing it, it is not a mechanical object per se, but arcane. But you are able to, as you're rolling this pearl over it, or you're probably tinkering with your tools or your arcane focus, right? And so as you're discerning the workings of this thing, Doc, you're quite surprised to discover that it operates very similarly to the mechanism that you've constructed for your shield spell. Though slightly different, but it is in fact a bracer of shielding. And so this bracer, when worn by somebody, they are able to kind of focus their energy to create a shield of force that kind of emanates up out of it. It is not the shield spell. It literally acts as a shield, though it is a shield of force. It is a shield that's strapped to your arm that you can't drop, and you're able to kind of activate it or deactivate it as a free action, right? So this would be something that's good for somebody using versatile weapons or something like that.
Cool.
I see.
It's cool.
Cool. Yeah. Reg has no use for that. He ain't got shields.
Do you need to be able to use a shield to use the bracer?
Yes, you have to have proficiency in shields, right? Once it's like up, like if you don't know like how to really like wield a shield appropriately, then you're kind of in bad shape. But that's basically everybody except for Reginald, I think.
Yeah, and he's got the shield spell. Now, do you have anything that protects you from cats? Because I feel like that might be useful for Rich right now.
Oh, yeah, this guy, man. He's just like, oh, hey, I've been sleeping all day. Are you busy now? Let me make problems.
Yeah.
Who amongst our crew has the lowest? Is everybody else can use it? Who has the
I was
lowest
wondering
AC?
about that. My guess is that it's the Badman, based on almost no information.
Good catch.
Yeah.
That's true. The Badman is not proficient in shields. He's proficient in cat.
Oh.
Okay, so also not the bad man. What's your AC, Doc?
16. Also
Okay.
have the shield spell.
Yeah, but Jake, what's your AC?
I can't use it.
Can't use it.
He's-
No, because I have bracers of defense that don't work if I'm using a shield. So it would
Got
really
it.
just be a one-for-one trade.
And you're already wearing 2 bracers, so you couldn't just put one on. They would make the other ones inert. Yep.
What's
Gotcha.
the other one?
I'm
Or
saying,
are the bracers of defense literally a set of bracers?
yeah, correct.
Okay, I can't double up on bracers. Got it.
Yep.
I didn't. I was picturing a bracer of defense, but it is indeed pluralized.
Nope, it's like more like a pair of shoes than a pair of pants.
Sounds
Yes.
like we're
Gotcha.
down to Rhea, Lux, Asturias, but maybe back to Doc.
Well, Rhea, what's your AC?
18.
Oh,
That's with a shield, though,
I
correct?
got a shield. Yeah.
Oh, you already have a shield.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the same as like using a shield. It's just a better version of a shield in that, like, you don't have to carry a shield around, and you could just kind of at will be like shield.
When I have the shield, if like say I had it and I have the shield activated, I can still only use my weapon one-handed.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't think it makes much difference for me.
Maybe we table this until there's someone who really wants it.
Okay.
Yep.
Slash
Yeah.
Sounds
Doc
good.
can keep it for the moment.
Yeah, Doc, you keep
Yeah.
it.
Sure. It feels like an Asturias item, but I can certainly take it until they're on their next adventure.
Okay,
Great.
got it.
What's that ring?
Yeah.
I love. I think I have a ring of feather and a whale ring.
Oh
Ray's
my
like,
gosh.
what's that? What's that ring?
You're gonna become
What's
like
that?
you're gonna become like a Marvel villain, just like filled with
Yeah,
rings.
really. Rhea and the 10 Rings of Power. The ring. I have to double check myself here and make sure I'm like looking at the right list. I am. It's a ring of jumping. It allows you to cast the jump spell as a bonus action at will. So it's no charges. Basically, it like triples your jumping distance, this jump spell, and being able to do it as a bonus action means like, oh, okay, I could like cast and jump in the same round.
In the list of items, so it says Rhea ring of jumping. I think I got a ring of feather falling. That's what it says in the loot list. So it's there's also in the
I
list.
think you have both. We got one in Malpieti Prime, a ring of jumping.
I also-
See, like that's what I was trying to like cross-reference. That's my bad. See, I have like a whole list of stuff. You ready?
So I got 3 rings. No, don't need 3 rings. That's too many rings.
I am not a circus.
No.
That's my bad then. I thought there was a ring
it's
of
okay.
animal influence. See, I have like the master list of stuff that I'm looking at right here.
Looks like on the Mordekaiser there was a ring of feather falling. On Malpieti Prime there was a ring of jumping, but I don't think anybody actually claimed that one. So now we have 2 rings of jumping.
Mm-mm-mm.
Mm.
Well, let's. Yeah, I'm not in the room, so I won't say anything.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Seen that one before.
Cool.
Doubling up on
Yeah.
items, I know, really. No, not exciting. Not exciting at all.
Oh, it's fine.
Which leaves us with what? Just the longsword, right?
Yeah, which we're gonna give to Yana.
Yeah, I guess the red dragon scale and the ship's head are just those things. They're not
Not
like...
magical. Yeah, it's literally like the scale of a red dragon, and the ship's head is legit like this mermaid ship's head that got ripped off something. Yep.
Great.
DM,
Yeah.
if I
so then just
if I may, I do have written down metal tube.
I have that as well.
Oh, the metal tube was the potion of superior healing.
Ah, okay. There we
think.
go. That
It's
makes-
in like
that
a
makes-
metal tube rather than like a glass something. Yep.
Got it.
like a-
oh,
it's like
and
a-
the fat rocks.
A fat rocks?
Rocks. Fat
Fat
rocks.
rocks.
Oh
They're
yeah,
just rocks.
he did have a
Just
bunch of
regular
fat
rocks.
rocks in his bag for throwing at people. Yeah.
He gave some of them. He took some of them back, but I feel like we kept at least one.
Yeah.
Fat rock.
Yeah, I think you did too. I think that probably Lux is like, I need that for the pot and the plant.
Great.
Jeffrey keeps going in there, and it's a hole he's digging, and it's gonna stink in here real quick. Let's put that rock right in the pot.
Put that rock in there.
Wait,
By the way,
what's
welcome
the
to how like DMs
smell
intend
and
things
Rock?
versus how players receive them. When you said scales, I definitely was like, oh, some sort of like
Yeah.
device to weigh things. And the
Oh,
like red
no.
dragon scale, it's like, oh, that's different.
He'll want those back. He has things
Yeah.
to weigh.
I hope he doesn't want those back. We are not prepared for a red dragon, let's be clear.
It's all
Sorry,
about
I'm
scale.
not-
No problem. So the longsword. As you are identifying it here, Doc, what you come to discover is, in fact, that it's just a longsword +1. It's nothing like extraordinary, but it is enchanted and will not ever lose its edge.
Mm.
As well as bypassing, the resistances and damage reductions of strange magical creatures and entities. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Nothing insanely exciting. But, Doc, you have gone through the items. You have this red dragon scale. You have the ship's mast, the platinum pieces, the whole deal. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna try to like mount the scale on the wall somewhere.
Nice. Yeah.
Like, some sort of like place of prominence within the ship.
Maybe like right over the door leading to the cockpit, right? Like instead of the
Yeah.
horseshoe, it's like the red dragon scale.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to like touch it as you walk through the
Mm-hmm.
through the cockpit. Yeah, nice.
Jake, where are we gonna put this giant mermaid mast?
Jake looks up as if considering the layout of the deck.
Pretty cool.
It's a mast.
It's the like ship's head. It's not quite the mast, right? It's the thing that would be on the
The
prow.
figurehead. Not
Yeah.
like the prow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the king of the world place.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's maybe just set it on the deck.
Sure.
There.
Ray immediately starts moving it up.
I'll help.
Okay. And so I think we see like Rhea and Jake like open the like bay up to the upper deck, and you make your way up. Lux is driving, the Badman is sleeping. Sharp Jumper is like talking to Yana about their harrowing experience trapped inside fish tanks of Occam the Razor, the Builder rather. and yeah, I think that Ben is like going through old documents, paperwork, etc. And so, yeah, I think, yep, Doc?
I want to talk to the plant. We didn't do it last week.
Nope, you didn't. Yeah, the plant
Yeah.
is like potted in this like large pot. It's a little jammed in there. The plant was like a bit of a tree, but Lux got it in. Ranger stuff, cool Ranger shit. CRS. And so that now there's this big rock like wedged on top of it, right? So Jeffrey can't get into the soil, and Sure. So I think that, what do you say to the plant? The plant's like just kind of like there in the corner of the cockpit as you like make your way up past the rooms. I think Professor, like, you see Doc like heading up to the front.
Yeah, I think I just kind of like, hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear everything. I hear it all. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing. I love this.
Do you? Okay, that's good. Just wanted to check.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
You know, we always want to check that, we didn't like smuggle you aboard against your will or something. We didn't really like check first, I guess.
No, this is great. In here, they had me locked in that, I don't know what you call it, with the walls. It was terrible.
Yeah, museum, prison. I don't know. Yeah, that was bad. Where are you from?
The dirt.
Sure. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you remember like where that dirt was in like the scheme of like things that are not dirt?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I've been telling your friend about it over here. It was a beautiful rolling
Or is that
hill.
why your voice is so hoarse? Because you've been talking to Lux so much?
No, this is just my voice. I can speak up if you need.
No, it's okay. I can hear you fine.
All right, yeah. I mean, I'm only just finding this voice, but I'm quite enjoying it. Yeah. It reminds me of
So sorry.
the wind.
Amazing. I interrupted you back then. You were talking about where you were from beyond the dirt.
Yeah, it was the dirt of a rolling hillside that overlooked a great vast water. And there were all these other plants. There were grass plants. There were bush plants around. And there were other tree plants like me. And then above us,
cool.
the sky, you'll never believe it. It was blue. It was the most amazing shade of blue. These big, white, fluffy things moving through it all the time. They didn't make a lot of noise, but sometimes they could blot out the whole sun for days.
Right. We call those clouds.
They have a name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. Can they talk?
I don't know, but I never talked to a plant before either, so maybe. I'm not ruling out anything anymore.
Wait, I've never talked to you before, so this is like a first for both of us.
Right. Yeah. It turns out docs can talk too.
Amazing.
Who knew? Yeah. Did the other plants around you also grow rubies like you do?
There were a few. They were way further up the hill. It didn't seem that important, but the person that locked me in that whatever you call it, that thing with the walls, he was fascinated. Every year he would come, he would pluck them right off. I was there for a really long time.
That's too bad. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
You
got me out. This is great now. And I get the impression that I'm gonna be around for a long time. I don't know how I know, but it seems like I'm very young.
That's cool. That's great. We tend to collect things on the ship that are very old, so it's great that, maybe you're the one thing we don't have to worry about dying on the ship.
Yeah, the scaly guy with the wings, he keeps telling me he's old and that he's gonna die soon. It's sort of sad.
Yeah. He really, soon being a really relative term, we've been hanging around what feels like months, and it turns out it's only been weeks. So like, he shouldn't die anytime soon, but he is really old.
I guess, yeah. This is a very interesting place. I've never really seen anything like this out here, but I'll take it.
Cool. Okay. Well, can you you can speak even if I don't start talking to you, right? You can just speak.
Oh, yeah. The guy with the scales said that I shouldn't talk unless you all want me to talk, though. He said that he knew some plants that were in this pot, and they just he did this gesture. I'm not sure what that means, but He told me just to not make a nuisance of myself.
Was the plant doing this gesture with
Yeah,
the
it takes a
leaves?
couple of branches, and it's yeah. Yeah.
Right. You can I don't know. You can talk when you want.
Okay.
I don't know. I might not want to listen to it, but you could talk. I'll make somebody else listen to you. It's fine.
It's like all of a sudden I have all these thoughts, so it's good to be able to get them out, share them with somebody.
Sure. Talk to the frog. If you see the frog, I think
That guy is
pretty
great.
keen to talk to people.
Yeah, he seems fantastic.
Yeah, just don't touch him.
I always liked frogs, but squirrels, I hate those little bastards.
Sure. Yeah. They're pretty nuts for plants, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're hearing like most of this, Professor, like from the other room.
I think what's happening, right, is like Reg is overhearing one side of the conversation. He's hearing Doc's side of the conversation because he doesn't really have the best hearing.
Okay.
And so
It's got tiny ears. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just trying to intuit, I think let's say Doc? Doc? Doc?
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, just talking to the plant.
Right. I've been meaning to ask you this, and with this Decidian spiral that we were heading toward, are you familiar with the history of this? I've been reading up on it a bit, and it's quite harrowing, to say the least.
Oh, no, not at all. I just kind of figured other people would worry about that, and I didn't worry about that.
Well, you figured correctly. I have been worrying about it for the last, goodness, at least 6 hours, which is quite a long time for me.
Yeah, because you're the person who tends to not worry about things until things go wrong, and then usually I'm the one that worries about things in advance. And we've had quite the switcheroo here. It's yeah.
Well, I do my best to focus my efforts on the tactical opportunities in front of us and what is necessary. But sometimes my vision does grow beyond our immediate purpose if I fear that something significant should be on the horizon. And I do worry. I realize that I was one who pushed for us to go to the Decidian spiral, but I don't know what we will find in that direction.
Remind me again. This is where we're going. It's this planet that's like slowly breaking up and dissolving.
Well,
being destroyed.
Slowly, quickly. It is a matter of perspective, of course, but yes, it has been breaking up for some time, and it appears to be, from what I've heard from Lux, more broken up than our notes would indicate it should be.
Oh, that's cool. Probably bad, but cool.
I'm simply intuitive. Perhaps Rhea or Jake would have another analysis of this, but it concerns me greatly.
That's fair. You being concerned makes me less concerned somehow. So I don't know. That's cool.
Why? Might I ask?
I don't know. Because you're on it, right? You're I don't know. You're like pretty smart, and so if you're worried about something, then we'll figure it out.
Huh. And in that way, if you are concerned about something, then I should pay it no mind. I certainly trust you, of course.
I don't know.
I simply believe that two heads are better than one often.
Sure. So, do you want me to help you think about this and worry about this?
No, it's quite all right. No, I think you should continue to talk to the plants and otherwise enjoy your day. I simply wanted to see if you had additional information or shared my concern, but it appears as though this is perhaps something for me to carry, and I will happily take that burden upon the ship.
Okay. Once we get there, we'll see how it goes, I guess. I'm done talking to the plant. I don't know. You can. The plant's pretty nice if if you're feeling worried.
Hey, we haven't been introduced.
I am Professor Reginald Frybottom.
I didn't ask your name. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm a plant.
Hi. Do you have a name?
I mean, I haven't.
It can be anything you want.
That's what they keep telling me, but I don't even know where to start.
Well, a plant starts with a seed, so perhaps...
That's fantastic. Yes, call me Seed.
Seed?
Yeah, I love it. Is that not a good name? I could think of another one.
It's
a great name.
It will certainly grow on me. It's a wonderful name, and should you choose to change it at any point in your future, I believe that this is the ship on which to do it.
Well, that's something to consider. Okay, I'll keep that in branch.
What have we gotten ourselves into?
I think your friend here called it a spaceship.
Metaphors don't sit well with plants, do they?
I have no idea what that is, but I sit in this pot now, and it's great.
I think Rex just nods and turns to Doc. I think I should go find someone else. Good day, Seed.
And I think the Seed cuts as we see Jake and Rhea up on the deck, and the pair of you have this big figurehead of
Pivot.
This mermaid. Yeah.
Pivot. Pivot.
Little 90s humor there. That was, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we'll just put it up here? Just anywhere?
I think so. We probably shouldn't try to attach or mount it to the ship while the ship is moving. I think I saw that on the instructions.
That's smart. All right. Well, it looks so cool. We should attach it to the ship at some point.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, set it down. Well. So. You doing all right? You doing good? You doing all right?
Yeah, you know.
The bees, they never sting you in your shell?
No, they don't. They're my friends. We get along.
You have any other friends on the ship? Anybody else you'd call a friend? Just.
Well, I think everybody, until they sting me. So I guess that so not Reginald, because that still smarts.
Yeah, he got you so. I'm not over that. Still, he hit you so hard.
Yeah,
it was our first fight. He just hit you right away.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
No,
he means well.
He did. No, I like the professor. Yeah.
He makes a lot of charcuterie boards. You're gonna cut him off from the. He's always got a charcuterie board. You're in charge of the inventory. I'm not critiquing. I'm just saying it's a lot of charcuterie.
Well, we had a lot of sharks to eat.
It's true.
I think it's a good use of shark meat is for a charcuterie board. It just makes sense.
Yeah, you're so freaking smart, Jake.
I don't know how to toss that ball back to you, Rhea.
You don't have to. I was not expecting a volley. You know, just compliment right at you. Well, should we go downstairs?
Do you have any idea how long before we reach our destination?
No, I have no idea what we're doing here. Do you mean like our destination today, or like a whole, like
I don't
our whole
mean
life, like our whole, like an
philosophical-
existential?
No,
No, just today.
Just if we arrive today, that's great. But with the spiral, I believe is where we're heading.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know how long it takes.
I
I'm
think
sure Asturias knows. Yeah.
I think on that cue, like a lot of you have been sailing for some days since your encounter with Gump, the Colossus, floating through the void. And I think like off in the distance, as a lot of you are up here, you know, the camera like taking in Jake and Ray, the pair of you kind of like pivoting with the figurehead, getting it up towards the front by the mast, right? We see the ballista in the stowed position, strapped, ominously looming behind Jake. And I think in the distance we could see like the first signs of like the kind of trails, the tails following behind these objects like moving, right? They're like asteroids, right? It's almost like this asteroid field far off in the distance, obscuring the greater planet as you first make sight of the Decidium spiral.
Jake points. Look.
Oh, yeah. We'll probably get there today.
Hey.
I guess these are just tails, but yeah. Oh, looks like it's exploded pretty good.
Well, just in case there is shrapnel or other dangerous flotsam or jetsam, then we should maybe be below deck as we approach this area.
So smart. Yeah, we should go down.
How did you guys affix the figurehead?
I think we did, right?
You just like
set it
carried it
down?
up to the front and set it down, laid it down. Okay.
Yeah, we weren't going to affix it until we landed. We just wanted to just kind of like
Get it out of the way.
wedge it so it sticks somewhere. Jake's a smuggler. He knows how to wedge things in things so that they're secure.
Jake, can I have you make a smuggling check?
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, you laugh, but I don't have that.
I was gonna say, I was really waiting for you to blow my mind here,
laugh.
Kurt. My eyes are like dancing all over this character sheet. Like, where is it? You know.
Those tools.
I'm gonna say, why don't
I have advantage.
but Ray is helping, so you had advantage, right?
Yes.
Yeah. 20! That's a 20 on the smuggling check. Good job. Good job. Well played. I'll take
I
it.
meant to query attribute. But
That's fine. That's fine. We'll take it. We'll take it. So you managed to like wedge this thing up in the railing in front of the mast, kind of securing it, so it's not going anywhere unless like the ship crashes. You feel pretty good about it. Yep.
I mean, if needed to, I could cast web on it.
No, definitely not. Definitely
But
not.
yeah,
I thought you were going to say you could have some bees stay up here and just hold it in place.
I mean, I could cast Mage Hand, and then the bees would kind of try to hold it in place as best they could. But
No, it's secured. It's very firmly secured.
You did a great job, Jake. It's not going anywhere.
So yeah, I think that like with that, what do you guys want to do? You're heading back down.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys like head down, and I think you see like the professor kind of making his way out of the cockpit dock, like standing up there. Jake and Rhea like coming back down into the hold in the back, closing up the like latches, the hatch that opens up there, I should say. And I think it's at this point that Lux, like cruising along, is like, I see it, you guys. We should be there in not that long. It looks pretty hairy, though. There's definitely a giant asteroid field out there.
Oh, goodness.
You're the best pilot around, Lux. You got this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know. I definitely do. But also, it might be good for us to have spotters outside, just in case. I mean, I've got it, but...
There's a giant asteroid field, and you want us to go outside the ship?
Yes.
All right, well, maybe that's not the best idea, but...
I will go up on the ship deck and do my best. And Reginald will head on up on the ship deck.
Okay. So, like, yeah, as, like, Jake and Ray are just making their way down, like, you know, Lux yells all this stuff, Reggie, you're going to, like, head back up to the top. And so, yeah, I think over the next, like, 15 to 20 minutes, you guys let me know if there's anything important happening with you. But, yeah.
I think, like, Reg in particular is, like, he is prepared to cast Firebolt on any small objects that come within the vicinity, like any micrometeorites or anything that come within the vicinity of the ship.
Sure. Dope.
So he's attempting to clear a path.
Awesome. Can I just like space check where the rest of you all are? Where is everybody located? If Reginald's going to go back up on top deck, where are the rest of you?
Jake will join, but manning the ballista to take out any
nice
debris that gets too close. I'm assuming it's not like a harpoon with a rope where you could like pull it back and reload. Like we have limited ammo.
Yeah, I believe I wrote it down in the store somewhere in the beginning, though. That was a very long time ago, May the 4th, as it were. I think I said you guys started with 30 bolts, and we know one of them was very infamously shot, but I don't know how many more. I think you might be down like 2 or 3 at this point.
Yeah, I think Ben shot. What did Ben ever shoot one, or did he just threaten?
I think he just got up there, and then he didn't
got
actually end up shooting anything.
So
I
we've
think,
only
like,
shot
by
the
the
one.
time he got up there, we like had
We
finished.
finished the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cursed, just the one.
Yeah. So you have 29 ballista bolts. There you go, inventory master. And certainly you could hook a rope up to one. I think they all probably have like a hole somewhere in the post, but yeah, they're not inherently roped.
I'll turtle the ballista.
Excellent.
Ray will head up top, back up, I guess, as well. Those are the instructions. One general thing that I was like thinking about, we were looking through the loot. We have this like potion of healing that we just have, and then there's also I think some potions we get. There's a potion of heroism and a potion of flying that we got. I feel like just as a general rule, we should just take them with us. Somebody should have them, and then if we feel like there's a moment to use them, we use it. So I feel like, I don't know if those have been in inventory or whatever, but I mean, Rhea can take them for now, and then if other people want to be in possession of them on adventures, we will like pass them around. But
Perhaps
I feel like
someone else should have the potion of healing besides the healer,
sure.
among the many other great things that Rhea does.
I'm just for now. I've grabbed them so we have them.
Great.
And then anybody else can take them at this very moment if you would like to have the potion of superior healing.
So who wants that? I'm just going to check who's holding it.
Reginald will take one of them. I don't care. It could be healing, could be flying. I think he's less interested in heroism.
Take the healing potion.
Take the healing potion. Great.
Okay.
Done.
And
Problem
so,
solved.
with that, where are you at, Doc? The rest of them are all like going back up on deck.
Yeah, I guess I go back up as well. If that's what Lux wants, that's what she'll do.
Okay. Lux doesn't necessarily have the best ideas. No offense, Lux. This is my version of Lux who has bad ideas. I mean, like, Taylor has great ideas, but, like, my interpretation of Lux may not have the best ideas. So, okay, I think with the four of you making your way up top, I think you hear the badman, like, snoring from his cabin. Yana, like, and Sharp Jumper make their way probably into, like, the front, the cockpit. And so I think over the course of the next, like, 20 minutes, half an hour, as you're like approaching in closer and closer to this spiral, you're beginning to like get clarity for what you're seeing, and you realize there are like these massive asteroids that are rotating around the planet, or revolving, right? And so behind each of them, they're all like moving in a pattern, right? They're like moving like a school of fish. They're all moving in a uniform direction. It seems like, with these like trails behind them of like debris and dust. They're sort of like pinkish in their coloration as they like float through the like void of space. The rocks are like these, just like craters, these smashed like jagged pieces, but they're like far and away like bigger than the ship. Many of them, as you're seeing them, are easily as large as like the Aether Station was and the Dwarven Citadel, many of them bigger. And in the midst of that is all this like smaller debris that's just kind of like moving in this sea, and so it looks like pretty hairy, right? And I think that probably actually at this point, maybe like Yana would act as like the middle person, is like standing down below the hatch, like calling back from Lux up to you guys. Like, they say we're going to get very close. And so it's at this point that I think like after about the like 35-minute mark, you guys are starting to like enter like the kind of outer perimeter of debris, right? And the movement of the Dragonfly is becoming like much more kinetic, where these past days have just been the smooth ride floating here. Now Lux is piloting, and you're like pitching and you're moving, you're weaving. I think we see like Jake like fire off a bolt or two, knocking away like some bigger pieces of rubble. The professor like throwing some fire bolts, like smashing like smaller pieces. And I think that it's like at this point that the bunch of you would see like a pretty big cluster. One of these like large asteroids has just kind of passed, and Lux is going sort of like eastwise around it. And there's just this like array of kind of debris that Lux starts like diving through and weaving. And I'm going to say, how about everybody make a dexterity saving throw? Let's see if you guys all hold your feet up here.
Oof. Not great, Bob.
Oh, Rhea and the professor. There's a point where like you're coming in and there's a whole series of kind of boulders that are a bit bigger than the ones that Gump had in his bag, right? And Lux like kind of yells like, "Hang on, you guys!" And I think that it's at this point that like Yana is just like, yeah, they said hang on, and like the ship like like lurches, pitching up. I think we see like the figurehead like start to move, but it's wedged pretty good. It's smuggled most excellently. But the professor and Rhea go down. Boom! And the pair of you like start sliding back across the deck towards the back edge of the ship. You're able to kind of get a hold of the railing, but both of you are like laying prone. Jake at the ballista. Doc, what are you doing in the midst of all of this?
I think she's gonna. Oh gosh, she's gonna look at both of them and feel very like outweighted. But I think she's gonna try to like throw some rope to whoever is like looks most like they're about to slide off, like at risk of sliding off, and then tie like one end to the ballista so that. Yep. She's not like trying to use her own strength, I think.
Yeah, Doc knows physics. And so I think like you're easily able to kind of like pitch the rope around maybe like one of the railings, right? Tying it off to the ballista as you throw it in back to the others. And I think that like it's at this point, what's everybody's passive perception?
9.
15.
I thought mine was bad.
And I'm prone. So...
14.
14. Excellent. Jake, Rhea, as you're like laying on the ground, kind of like trying to pull yourself up. Jake, like you're at the actual the ballista, kind of like wheeling and pivoting here. The pair of you see it. Oops, hold on one second. Oh, Doc, you also see it. I'm sorry. All three of you. Like the professor's the only one who doesn't catch it. I think you see what looks like the outline almost of like a shape, like riding along next to the ship. And you're like riding, you kind of look and you see like the galloping almost of four legs. And it begins to like materialize out of like the ether. This figure becoming visible where there was none just a moment before. And let me do one of these and one of these. And as they, thank you for the gift subs. As they sort of like begin to like appear, what you see is what looks like a humanoid wearing like chainmail armor, and they have this kind of ornate helm on that has these two like wings almost like rolling back from it. They have no weapon, but they're on the back of what looks like a horse, except that this horse is like appears to be like covered in like scales and spines coming up out of it, and they're just sort of like materializing here next to you out of the ether. The horse like running, charging along next to the ship. And I think that this helmed figure like turns looking to you. They have no weapons in their hands, and there's a cage down over their face, so you can't like make out who or what is sort of riding this creature. But I think you hear this voice like echo out over the ship, booming like, what are you fools doing? Who are you people?
Not what I was expecting.
Good.
I was expecting some voice of God craziness, but is the humanoid like medium sized? Like
Yeah.
Okay.
This horse creature is like large, right? It appears to be to scale with like any kind of like conventional horse you've ever seen. And this human person is like to scale with you guys, right? Like smaller than like a bunch of you, because we have some of the larger crew here, but like about the size of a dock.
We're just checking out the planets.
Reginald stands up. Oh goodness. Oh.
The planet is ripping itself apart! You fools will be shattered to death and dust if you continue on!
Doc, that's exactly what I was saying. That is exactly what I was concerned about. This. Lux, turn it around!
What? He says, turn
Wait,
it
who are
around!
Yeah.
Let's just like stop for a minute and have a chit chat. Who?
Yes, stop!
I mean, just
Stop!
because
They
you
said
got a
stop!
cool horse, but who are you? Show us your face
And I think
if you want to.
the horse is like running, and you hearing like Yana yell down there to stop, and you hear Lux like, they said stop! And Yana's like, yes, they said stop. I'm gonna have to get that accent down. And
Yeah,
so I think
it's,
yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah, and so the ship starts to like pitch a little bit like upwards and like slow. The wings like beginning to like, and I think that like this rider kind of like circles around the front of the ship, like riding around to like the horse like racing over the top of it, until finally like the Dragonfly kind of slows to a stop, and there's debris everywhere. And I think this rider's like, this is not entirely the safest place for you to stop, but who am I?
Yeah.
My name is Martin.
yeah.
What?
My name is
Could
Martin.
you speak up, please? We're
Martin.
in the vastness of space.
Indeed, we are. I do not like it out here. My name is Martin. I'm one of the outriders for Bridge.
What's bridge?
Oh, by the light. Who are you people? Who are you?
Who are you
Weird
talking?
explorers.
Should we chat somewhere else? You said it. This is bad.
Yes! He like rides the horse up. It's like asteroids are coming. I think you hear Lux like, guys, we can't just stay stopped. And the ship like, suddenly has to move. And Yana's like, they say we can't stay stopped. Yeah.
Can you guide us to safety, somewhere where we might converse?
By the light, tell your pilot to follow me.
I'll try our best. She doesn't listen. We'll follow?
Yeah, they said
Lux,
follow.
Follow this guy.
All right, I'll follow this guy. Yeah. So, like, I think we see, like, this strange, like, draconic horse, like, drop down in front of the ship, and the ship, like, picks up motion again and pivots. And you guys now cut and are kind of running, like, straight in to this course. The asteroid's now, like, coming straight at you, where you were kind of, like, Frogger perpendicular before. And the rider is, like, nimble, agile, the horse, like, kind of darting and diving between them, but, like, the dragonfly itself is, like, pitching and moving. So the four of you, like, he's way out in front of you. The four of you, like, have a moment here. Yeah.
Can we get some type of an insight check on, like, are they trying to lead us into danger, or does this appear like the plan?
Make an insight check. Sure, go for it.
Great. I'm not the one who should be doing it, but Reginald's certainly thinking about it. So, alas, let's see what Reginald can glean.
By the way, I like that. I would have described this creature. It's kind of like a dragon horse. That's an apt name. Just
Good.
That's what it's like.
Yeah, good. Then I've nailed it. So
18.
It's definitely dangerous, Reginald. Like, he's definitely leading you into danger, but at the same time, like, you wonder, like it's not necessarily more dangerous than anything you were just doing. And
like, he's not turning around, like, and laughing sinisterly as objects hit our ship, sort of thing.
They seem like, the rider seems like hyper focused on, like, avoiding the kind of debris. And I think you realize, like, with this check as you're going, as you're, like, kind of looking out in front, you see that he's leading you towards one of these massive asteroids that's kind of hurtling along next to the planet, right? And so as you're looking now, like, down in to the center of this swirling storm, I think, like, there's a lot of debris. There are a lot of, like, large rocks, medium rocks, small rocks. Like, it's a real mess. And you think, like, by the gods, like, yeah, it would have been really hard to try to, like, weave the ship through all of this. Almost impossible to take, like, no damage, right? And you see them, like, racing towards, like, one of these large asteroids, and I think that they start like dipping in lower towards it, and you see them look over their shoulder and are, like, gesturing, like, down here, right? And as they start to lower in, I think that the lot of you, I don't know if you're still up on the deck, but I think you could see what looks like almost like a cave opening, this huge, like, entrance almost on the front of this asteroid. Like, it's almost got a whole board in it right on the front facing side, and he's, like, riding down in low, like, dipping in, and Lux, the excellent pilot that she is able to kind of navigate the is able to kind of navigate the Dragonfly itself.
That's the name of the show. Yeah.
Correct. Down into said hole.
Did they say they were with the bridge?
Yeah, the bridge.
What on earth is the bridge?
Outrider. Can I do a? Would I know? Would any of us know? Would, like, never heard of this before, right?
Sure, make a history check. Yeah, go for it.
5.
No clue. Yeah, no clue.
No idea.
A bridge is usually a structure of some sort, connecting things in distance. You know this. I don't have to tell you this. I'm just... any sort of bridge here would be destroyed through the centripetal forces of the planet tearing itself apart.
Might be a metaphor.
I was gonna say, not all bridges are, like, physical bridges. Sometimes they're, like...
You ever heard about, like, burning a bridge? Not a real
Symbolic
bridge.
bridges.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been known to. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You burned a bridge?
I was very young at the time. That's the story.
Like a real bridge? That, like, not a metaphor? You burned a real bridge?
They told me that it would not be on my permanent record, so I do not feel compelled to discuss it anymore.
You don't have to discuss anything you don't want to, but I'm very intrigued by this story. You just don't seem like the bridge burning type, you know?
I had a moment of
Duck?
childhood.
I
Never
was gonna
mind.
say, if I burned a bridge, I feel like that's not surprising.
Yeah,
to anybody,
I would have
but
been
yeah,
like,
Esther
of
is
course
maybe
you
not.
burned a bridge, but not Reginald.
Right.
It was. I will. There are serious matters at hand that we must contend with at the very moment. Our past is not one of them, I should hope.
I don't know. He seemed right about how dangerous it was in there. I think it was probably a bad idea to try and just go to the center of the swirling, exploding planet. I mean, in retrospect,
Because, like, we're trying to get away from the guy, Occam, that's, like, probably coming after us, but hiding in an asteroid works just as well.
yeah, the whole point was to go somewhere where he wouldn't follow us, right?
Yeah,
This
as
is
long
true.
as we don't get eaten by some sort of giant space worm, I think this is going to be great.
Now, why on earth would you put that idea into my head at this very moment?
I don't know. Just something I heard once in a story. It's fine.
And so you fly into the maw of the giant worm. I mean, asteroid. Yeah, I don't mean to cut you guys short. You have like a couple of minutes here while you're just kind of flying that you can continue talking.
So we're just like flying into the cave of an asteroid, and just following this rider on a dragon horse through space, whilst packed into our dragonfly-shaped ship.
Yep.
Which I just noticed in the description saves as thin wood. So that's it.
Yes, Grace.
Reg, he told us his name. He said his name was Martin. There's no way you're given a fake name and you're going to say your name is Martin.
Martin?
Yeah.
You seriously?
It sounds pretty fake to me.
Yes.
What?
You asked me to make up a fake name right now. There's a 32% chance I would choose the name Martin.
No, there's no
you
way.
Either say
32%
Ray,
chance.
Sarah, or Martin. Like, there's no other fake names.
Penelope at times, perhaps 3% of the time.
Jake, nobody's given a fake name as Martin.
Never.
See?
I would say that Jake is a name that is given incorrectly, perhaps 10% of the time. Is Jake your real name?
You mean Jake?
What are you implying? That his name is Jake? Reggie, that's ridiculous.
Now is not the time.
People seem to call him Clancy an awful lot, so maybe that's his real name.
That's a whole thing. Yeah.
I see. Someone else has something they would not like to discuss at this very moment when we are moving into uncharted territory.
Well, why don't we'll just be on our toes. We'll just, be ready for anything. Lex can be ready to get the ship out of here, Where else we could just leave. You want to go? We could just go.
He seemed very friendly and helpful. I don't know why we're doubting
He was
this.
like, don't run into the asteroids. We're like, that makes so much sense.
I guess so.
That seems
He
helpful.
was saying, if you
got
want to
it.
be safe,
Yeah.
run with these scissors. I would have questions, but he seems to be sending us in a sensible direction.
You're correct. This all does make sense. I've just been concerned for a bit since we came along this path.
And I'm fascinated by that dragon horse. I want to learn more about.
There's a dragon horse? Oh, I did not notice that.
You didn't see the horse he was riding on?
And the horse he rode in on, you didn't see that?
Well, no. Well, what were you going to say about that, Jake? I'm sorry. I cut you off in my panic.
No, I just that creature looked like a dragon horse thing, and I'm just would love to learn more about what that is. I don't know. I've never seen anything like it. It's a curiosity. And you know what they say about curiosity and turtles?
Indeed.
That's another metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's with that like Lux has like lowered the Dragonfly in to this like cavern, and you guys are like moving along forward a little bit, and it's at this point you're seeing Martin kind of like the horse like lands and like kind of wheels around turning, and Lux like slows, and the legs of the ship extend, that familiar feeling as it lands with a little bit of give here on the ground. And I think that you see him like kind of like slide off of the horse's saddle, and he like lifts up the whole like visor of this helm, like rolls back and kind of hooks in between these wings, and you see what looks like this human face looking back at you, right, as he's like staring up at the ship, the dragon horse kind of like standing behind him. And I think you see him like turn and like pat the horse on the neck, and like he like kind of nods to it, and you watch the horse just begin to fade in much the same way that it appeared, like it becomes kind of translucent, and then you just kind of see this outline of it almost with this kind of white light, and then it fades away. And he takes like a half step forward, kind of looking up at the ship, and he calls out like, well, I hope I don't regret this. So who are you people?
We're
Doc, Waffle, Reggie, Bria, Jake. This is our ship.
yeah. We're from the
We are
Dragonfly.
explorers.
Yeah.
This is our ship called the Dragonfly.
Explorers.
Yep.
Yeah, is that hard to believe? We're in space. What other types of people do you randomly run into in the middle of space?
Mercenaries, religious zealots,
Nope,
merchants.
definitely not those on this ship.
That's
I apologize. We would normally have our ambassador lead the conversation, but they appear to be occupied at the moment.
That's okay. They taught me everything they know. Become in peace.
Well, that's good.
Who are you? Why
I'm
are
Martin.
you sighing so much? Hello.
I'm just gonna have to explain this. I've
Yeah.
never actually brought anyone home for dinner before. Right.
Oh, for
All right.
For
dinner.
dinner? As
Do
dinner?
you live here?
Explorers? Explorers,
Yeah.
you say?
Yep.
We've been sent on a mission to.
You're not mercenaries, you're not soldiers, and you're not with one
No,
of the
no, no,
trade
no.
guilds.
But we also don't necessarily want to eat dinner with you. You seem kind of.
Oh, I'm very.
Anyway,
hungry, so-
who are you?
wait.
All right, then you don't have to have dinner. I mean, I just was trying to save your lives and that of your ship, because I've never actually seen one flying in the stars before, only schematics, and I've just spent my entire life looking at pictures of these stupid things on the walls, and have no idea what you people are doing here. So I assumed I shouldn't have.
Well, now
assumed.
hold
Always tell me
your
not to assume.
mystical horses, Martin.
The horse
You-
is gone, right? Okay.
Yes, I was simply stating it's a saying, it's a metaphor, one might say. We were
We're
simply
really big on those today.
It is a day of metaphor, okay? We were simply going through what we believe to be undercharted territory. When we came upon you, you invited us to follow you, and we have followed you here. Hello. Good day. Good to see you. Hope that you are well. Is that not how conversations typically begin?
Oh, no, that's exactly how. I mean, just your friend there just doesn't want... I'm sorry. I feel like we've started on an awkward foot. The dinner thing, also a metaphor. I wasn't literally inviting you for dinner. I don't even know what I'm having for dinner. But Oh, shit. I might as well just show you now. All right. Do you want to come see Bridge?
Yes.
No, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I would
No.
very, very much like to know before we go what it is.
It's where we live. I don't know. It's not, I think, a city or a town, really. It's a community. A community. That's what Mati calls it, at least. We're a community.
Sorry, Martin, is it? Sorry?
Yes. Yes.
Ray, I would like to check if he's lying about that.
Sure, make an insight check.
And did he say Mati?
Yes. He says that's what Mati always calls it.
14.
You know, he seems a little flustered.
Yeah.
And he does seem like anxious and concerned.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like he's trying to like mislead you here. He seems to be speaking like pretty earnestly.
Okay. Team, I think we should go check it out. I mean, where do we got to go right now?
I mean, sure, but like, does no one else feel like we were chatting in space, and then it was like, this is a bad place to chat, we should go, and suddenly it's like, hey, do you want to see my entire community? Like, dude, you don't know us from anybody.
No, you're right, I don't, and that's why I'm very anxious. I probably should not have invited you back here, but really, I maybe was not the best person to put on the border patrol, okay? I'm sorry, but...
No, don't be sorry. Don't...
Well,
I'm just saying, like, we're okay, but you shouldn't just, like, invite randos back if it... Okay.
Yeah, I've
Wait.
never done it before. That's what I was trying to say. I've never brought anybody back here, so I'm a little bit worried because I don't know who you people are, and it seems like there's a bunch of you in there. Is that a ghost? And I think we like look back and like there's all these faces pressed up against like the windshield, you know, like looking out of the cockpit. Like you see, like you know, Sharp Jumper and Yana and Asturias and Lux and Badman, you know, and Jeffrey and the plant in the background, you know.
Martin, I think of all the things I could say right now, perhaps few would do better service than to say any of the things you just saw could have been a ghost. Yes. Our ship is an interesting collection, an arc in a way.
Can I just say I'm confused? Our job is literally to explore and find out things, and then this guy's like, "Do you want to see everything there is to know about our town?" And we're like, why are we huffing at this? I don't understand.
Wait, did I say that? Did I offer to show you everything?
Not
I don't think I
everything.
offered.
I'm just
Okay.
Yeah, no, not
Do me a
everything.
favor. Don't tell Mati that I said that
No,
because I didn't say that.
Yeah.
And then I would definitely get in trouble.
Yeah, I won't tell Mati. I don't even. Whatever.
Doc, am I huffing?
No, I think I just like, I don't know. Is this not suspicious or like?
No, it's
near to
literally
anybody
not.
else?
No, it's not suspicious. The guy was like, "Don't go
Okay.
into the flying debris." We're like, that makes sense. He's like, "Do you want to go talk here?" Like, yeah. And he's like, and then you could come hang out and see the stuff where I live. It makes sense to me. I don't know.
I'm perfectly okay to go and explore. That is, of course, as you said, our mission.
Yeah.
I should ask one question though first.
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah.
Does your society happen to have any sort of oppressed class that is being held down in
Great
some
question.
sort of way?
No, man. Fuck that. Why would
Oh.
you even ask something like that? We don't
No.
oppress people.
No, don't. we
Wait,
always ask.
so no oppression, like.
I mean, I'm
That's a
sure
bit
there's
of a
your
red flag.
standard amount of oppression. He does not say. He does not say. I think that he's just like, I don't think so. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
there's not a big problem. There's not that many of us.
I'm just gonna tell you, it's gonna be something that we're gonna be on the lookout for. And if we do see that, we're gonna be not so happy. But we're welcome to come and check it out.
So are you like freedom fighters then
Kinda.
or something?
No, we don't
Oh.
fight freedom.
We have started more than one rebellion.
I would maybe not lead with that as a fact, but it is
Well, we
nevertheless true.
We do not need any rebellion here. And you're Doc, you're the one, Doc. I really like the dragon, but I feel like you're very suspicious of me. And to your point, I'm the one who should be suspicious here. I just
Well,
invited.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you should be suspicious. Like,
I am.
It makes me weirded out that you're not more weirded out by us. Like, look at us. We can be anybody. You need to protect your people better. I'm just like, I don't know, we're fine, but other people might not be fine.
We seem to be violently agreeing, and I'm confused.
I'm also confused. Yeah.
I think we are agreeing at each other, which is maybe not how that should be.
All right, well, I mean, listen, clearly I'm outnumbered. I should be suspicious of you by your own admission. You're welcome to get off the ship, and I could bring you to meet the rest of the community, and you can talk to Monty.
Have we been on the ship, like on the
Yes,
top of the
Just
ship?
imagine
we are on
the
the
four
board.
of you on the deck of the
Yeah.
ship yelling down to him.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
I would thoroughly appreciate and enjoy your hospitality, Martin.
Let's go. And Ray's gonna like get down from the ship and start heading down.
I hope not all of our conversations are that contentious.
I think Reg just says this under his breath, is like for anyone who wants to hear.
Okay, so slowly you four like make your way down, like throwing a rope ladder kind of off the top deck, climbing down to the surface. And I think Martin is kind of like anxious, nervously like waiting for you all to approach. And he's just like, oh gosh, I don't know. I think he like looks at Doc. Listen, I'm not sure if I made the right decision here, and I really hope that I did. I don't do this kind of thing a lot. I'm pretty new. It's a new position. It's kind of a big deal when they let you ride the horses. So, like, if you can not start a rebellion.
You're doing great. You're doing.
No, he's not.
Yes,
No.
he is. He's doing.
We're fine. But, like,
Shit.
the next time you run into a ship full of strangers, don't, like, bring them home.
I don't. But normally they're in big giant trade caravels, and nobody ever comes that close. And you people were riding straight into the middle of this thing.
Whoa.
And it's
You people.
oh gosh, they told me not to use that term. That's a mistake. Your crew was heading straight into the center of a maelstrom of rock and debris hurtling through the sky that surely would have shredded this ship that appears to be made of thin wood.
Yeah.
I think he's like, listen, all right, come on.
Do you know what? We got off on the wrong foot.
Yeah,
And that's
I think
my
we
bad.
did.
That happens sometimes.
Might have been mine. Might have been mine too. Hey, hello? Yep.
It probably was yours, but it might also have been mine. Let's go see your place.
Okay. Well, okay.
Can I ask, DM,
Sure.
what does Martin look like again? I maybe missed
So
that
he's
detail.
got this helmet on still, and he's wearing this chainmail, right? He seems like a humanoid build. He's probably, how tall is Doc? Like, he's somewhere in the range of like 5'8", you know?
She's probably just a little bit taller than that, but yeah.
Right. Okay. So he's not like yoked up, right? But he looks like an athletic kind of frame to him. And the face that you're seeing, he looks like youthful, human, brown eyes, like these deep kind of brown eyes, like sharp features to his nose is really all you can see. And like his mouth, his chin is still like in the helmet, you know?
But not like a teenager, but just like, 20s,
No.
early 30s sort of thing.
Yeah, early
Okay.
20s, maybe like a late teen, but he's not like a young adolescent kid or something like that, you know. And so I think he turns and starts like striding towards what appears to be like just the back of this cavern, like a total rock wall. And I think he walks right up to it and like takes a deep sigh, and he kind of looks back at you like, gosh, I hope this works out well, but okay, come on. It's not real. And he just kind of like puts his hand into the wall, like pulls it out, like and just walks right into the rock, vanishing.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Reg just like immediately follows.
Yeah, same. Right. Same.
Okay. So as a lot of you walk through, there's this moment of like disorientation as you're kind of like stepping through this illusory wall. And suddenly, as you like step out, you're in this brightly like lit space where the cave itself was like mostly kind of dark and shadowed, the dim light of the stars sort of trickling into the entrance. There are like torches and like these glowing orbs up on the walls all over the place, and you see in front of you what looks like a hallway. There's literally like a big open space, maybe 50 feet in front of you, and you're seeing like a mass of people. You hear like voices. You smell the scent of food, of like meat being cooked, of fire, right, and smoke. And you hear this like jumble of like voices coming from in front of you. And the floor itself is like stone, seemingly the same as like the asteroid, but it's been carved like smooth. The walls are like a little bit rougher, and the top also a little bit rougher in like an archway. But this is clearly like a man-made kind of tunnel, or a person-made tunnel, as it were. And so like he pauses for a bit until all four of you come through, and he's like, "Well, this is it. This is Bridge. It's where I live. A bunch of us live here. Mati sort of runs the show. She's my aunt, but gosh, she's going to be pissed. All right, well, she's really nice. Don't get the wrong idea. She just, well, it's a lot. Anyway, we don't get a lot of visitors, but all right, come on." And so he just starts kind of like heading down the hall, leading you forward. And I think he's like talking a little bit nervously as you go. And he's like, there's a few hundred of us here. Mostly, well, all different sorts, really. There's humans and half-elves, but, I mean, nobody really like a bunch of you. You're all very unique. Never met, well, I don't even know what some of you are, but yeah, you seem all right.
Minor correction, if I may. One cannot be very unique. You are either unique or not.
Is that true?
I'll keep that in mind.
I'm under the impression that it is true. I apologize. I don't mean to correct you out of sort. It's just a minor peeve of mine.
No, no, it's I'll and I think at this point you guys are like approaching the end of the hall, and like the sound suddenly is like diminishing, right? It's that moment of like walking into like a crowded space, and sort of everybody's like attention is shifting to you, and they're all like growing very quiet. And as you step out into like this big kind of open room, you see what looks like almost like a market setup, right? There's a bunch of people with like small sort of tables. Some of them, most of the stuff in here appears to be made of stone, but some of them are metal. There's very little wood that you see. And as you're like looking around, you're seeing like people with tools. Some people have like some books. There's like rugs and carpeting. There's a big like fire kind of burning in the middle of this space. The smoke like rolling up. The top of this cavern is very high, and there seem to be somewhere in the range of maybe 40 people, 50 people like milling about in the space. Some of them at the tables, some of them seeming to like be buying stuff, exchanging. Lots of little kids. There's a bunch of humans that you see. You see like a handful of half-elves mixed amongst them, a dwarf or two, a few halflings. And so as Martin kind of leads you in, and I think you hear this voice just like call from the crowd, like, who the hell are those people, Martin? What are you doing? And he's just like, oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna bring them to meet. And then I think it's at this point you hear this like voice kind of call out, like, who are you going to bring them to meet, Martin? And I think you see this woman like step out of the crowd. And she's got like white hair. I think like very immediately, Doc, like you recognize like a familiarity as she is a changeling. And she comes like stepping out of this crowd of people. She's holding like a basket in one hand that seems to be like filled with a couple of things. I think you see like mushrooms kind of like filling out of it. And she turns and just sort of hands it to somebody behind her and starts striding towards you guys. And Martin's just like, they say they're explorers. They were headed into the middle of the spiral, and it looked like they were going to be destroyed. I know I shouldn't have brought them back. They were going to die. And their ship, it's just like the ones that you have, the pictures, like one of them, the Dragonfly, it looks just like it. And I mean, how could I? And I think that she's just like, and he's like, right. And so this woman like walks up to the lot of you and just kind of like looks you over and is like, well met, then. I am Mati, and this is Bridge. And I suppose you've met Martin, but does he speak the truth? Are you flying in a dragonfly?
No, yeah, for sure.
You said a dragonfly. Were there many?
You're a gift queue. Once there were many. I thought they were all gone now.
Nope, we got one.
I apologize for my forwardness, but what is this place? How did you end up here?
Well, this is going to require some conversation.
Yeah.
I think she like looks around at the crowd of people like, all of you go back to your business. Don't be afraid. Would you like to come and speak with me? Someplace a little less crowded?
Ray looks to Doc. Should she be more suspicious of us, or like, is this fine? Is this good? Should we go?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
If it comforts you at all, I'm pretty suspicious.
Good. I'm suspicious of you. We're all suspicious of each other. Good, as it should be.
Nothing like a social interaction charged with tension. All right. Well, and I think that she like starts like walking through this big open corridor space. And I think you see like, it's almost like a wheel, right? It's this big circular room and it's got all of these kind of hallways leading off of it in various directions. And she kind of just starts leading you down one. And I think you hear Martin like, all right, I guess I'll talk to you later. And she's like, oh no, you're coming with us.
You're coming with.
Yeah. He's like, and I think at this point he starts kind of like pulling the helmet off, putting it under one arm. And so she leads you like down one of these halls. You twist a little bit that way, you twist a little that way, and she steps up to a door that she just pushes open. There's no lock on it. And inside is like a large room. It's got a carpet on the ground, rug, I should say. There's a whole bunch of like chairs in here, like one of which seems to be like a large sort of sofa type thing with upholstery. And as you step into the room and you start looking around, you're seeing all this art hanging on the walls. Much of it appears like badly damaged, burned, water stains, etc. But there's very clearly on one of the walls, there's like an image of not just like your ship, the Dragonfly, but of what looks like 6 or 7 of them, like kind of flying in formation over the surface of what looks like a green kind of hilly landscape beneath it. And I think like she's like looking back and like clocks you to see if there's any like recognition there, you know? And she's just like, so, He speaks true then.
But before we begin, and I should say I am not the best with this, but
Words.
yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, Rhea.
No problem.
I think it is important to know that Martin was simply doing what we had requested, and we had wanted to come here, and given the nature of our ship, I do not think that he made any mistake whatsoever. And I should hope he's not in any sort of trouble.
She like nods to you, looking to him, and I think he's just like, they said they're explorers. And she's like, is that true? You're not with any of the trade guilds, the mercenary guilds? You're not trying to convert us, or...
Actively? No. Passively?
And then she like looks down and she's like, oh, Clancy, right.
Yeah, Clancy, yeah. Why'd you look down?
Like, the sigil, I haven't seen one in a very, very long time.
Oh, she like looked down at me, not at
sorry.
again.
Yeah.
She like looked at the girl, was like,
Yeah.
Clancy.
Yeah. No, it wasn't quite that. She's like looking down to recognize us.
man.
I think she's like, well, all right. So what are you doing here, if I can ask? You're all welcome to sit. I'll offer you food and drink, but the suspicion, I don't know if that will increase it or... I mean, here, I will drink if that will ease you. And I think she like takes a pitcher and pours a cup and like drinks it.
We're tasked with updating an information about space. So, yeah, we're just trying to see what's out here and see if the information needs updating.
What information did you have about this place? Maybe that's how we can start.
There was a fair bit of information, lots of it, but the spiral, there was a catastrophic explosion, spiraled out, and this is because of the assault on the Great Library.
All right, then you know. And there's nothing at all in your information about Bridge?
No.
Well, that's
think it's-
reassuring.
Been quite some time since notes were compared, and it appears as though you've been able to make something of a very difficult situation, yes?
We have. This place, it's been here for a long time, longer than me. I was born into the job of governing it, I suppose, though I don't like that word.
Do you have a title of some sort?
Nothing formal. We're very informal people.
Ah.
Most of us were born here, though there are some few stragglers that we found over the years that have found us.
And let me guess, you do not have a means of leaving here.
Some of us do, but not to take everyone, certainly. And I don't know that everyone would want to go if they could. It's a life that we have, and it's not a particularly bad one, though we...
I apologize. I was not in meaning to imply that one should want to leave here, simply that it sounds as though for Martin that you are in a dangerous part of the universe.
We are. The mercenary guilds, the trade guilds, the religious bodies. There was a great deal in the library In the first days after it was destroyed, the cynics say that many came, tried to scour what they could from the remnants, but the explosions, they went on for years, really, until the whole crust of the world was ripped apart. It was called something different then, but once this all started, the cynics started calling it the Decidium Spiral. Good enough, I suppose. I don't know how long the actual planet will sustain itself this way, but, well, we don't have much cause to go there, really. The trouble is that there's always somebody who does, and so we try to keep vigil, keep ourselves safe. Keep what was lost there lost.
You don't think there's anything there anymore?
There are
Or
some
you-
things. There are.
But it's not worth finding?
There's some things that are very much worth finding down there, but it's dangerous. Is that your goal? You were making your way to see what was left of the library?
Kind of a byproduct of our journey, I think.
Explorers, huh?
We pissed off some bad people, and so we were just trying to get away from that and explore in the meantime.
Yeah.
What kind of bad people? Our people? I think she asks you, Doc.
No, but the kind of people that might, be too interested in our people. He was a collector of sorts, but not a very
Him.
not a very good one.
Yeah, that guy. He sucks. Wait. Yeah, wait, first. He sucks, right? Okay.
Oh, he sucks terribly.
he sucks.
Yeah.
I've had run-ins with him in the past.
Does he know about this place?
No. No one knows, and that's why I'm nervous. We do not want this place to be somewhere that's known, and I have a good intuition. It seems like you're being mostly forthright. Well, very forthright. I think she looks at Doc. And is like,
I do tend to be brutally honest, but honest at least.
It is one of the many ways in which she can be brutal.
the concern that I have really is that if you're looking to update some type of archives or records, is there a central archive? Are you trying to establish a new library?
I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to say that. We were selected for a mission to supplement what was known. That is all. And I think at this point, I think Reg has maybe shifted his posture ever so slightly in a way that perhaps the others might cue on him being a bit more guarded.
And I think that she's just like, well, have you ever heard of Fred Cynic?
I don't think we have, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if anybody would or not. It's really probably not, I guess.
No, I don't think so.
I say yes. Will you explain to me in full who he is?
Yes.
It's the move. Well, I know, but
Yeah,
But you gotta
it's
tell
the
me.
Escher
I
move.
believe we call that
Yeah,
the grace
can you
leader.
explain for those
yeah,
folks?
it is.
Yeah.
It is the grace. I think that she's like, what do you know about the library, about its fall, about what it was trying to be before it fell? Anything?
My understanding was that it was attempting to collect all of the information so that it could be accessible and known. It certainly sounds wonderful.
Noble when you put it that way, but what it represented was something else. The 5, of course, when the world grew smaller and the 5 first flew into the stars.
Should have been the 6.
Right. Clancy.
Yeah.
Well, but it was 5.
Yeah.
And in the years afterwards, information was gathered, collated, kept, recorded. And that all was the good part of what was happening, but if let to play out to its foregone conclusion, the library was the beginning of a system that was being built, an authority to govern the entirety of the known peoples of the stars. And there were many who pushed against that notion. Rebels, freedom fighters, whatever you want to call them. According to what we know, there were dozens upon dozens of ships that struck that day. I believe the coalition spread across 20-some planets. Anyway, they succeeded. They destroyed the library, but there was one man who fled with some of the orbs. His name was Fred Cynic.
The orbs.
You know of the orbs. This is the records that you're updating.
We've been made aware of their existence, yes.
So you're hoping you might find some undestroyed, preserved, or just add to what you know already.
Yeah. Both.
Perhaps now is a good time to ask, in your understanding of this story of Cynic, do you believe he was in the right or the wrong?
I have a biased opinion, so I'll state that
that's
part.
Literally
now.
how opinions work, but yeah.
Well, you weren't kidding about. All right, okay.
Brutal. Yeah.
And so I think she's like, you really all can sit down. We're not going to try to kill you or anything. I am a direct descendant of Fred Cynic. He destroyed the ship that he was part of and was left stranded here for a time with the orbs. 7. He sought to spread the knowledge that he had. And according to the stories that have been handed down, the rest of his crew did not. So he killed them. I am very much in favor of knowledge. It is perhaps the only thing that we have that can lead us to a better path than the one that we have walked before. And I am very much opposed to a centralized authority that will govern us. So I do not know how you would frame that in the context of your question. But there's some insight.
Right.
It's a lot.
I apologize. This is very deep. We've come into a new civilization born out of a severe tragedy and a deep betrayal that is terribly entwined with our very mission. It is a lot to process in a short amount of time.
Well, then you appreciate my position. And I think she like gestures to the painting on the wall. And she's like, we've seen many ships that still travel between the known worlds of our crystal sphere. But never anything like a dragonfly. I thought they were a relic destroyed with the turning of the age. Can I ask, where did you get it? Did you build it yourselves?
Of course not. None of us have. Most of us do not have the capability to build such a thing.
So where did you get it? Did you steal it? That'd be fine. Depending on who you stole it from.
Gosh, I wish we'd stolen it. That would be
Nope.
such a cool story.
We were commissioned to go on this journey, and the ship was provided to us.
Commissioned. Right. Oh, this is very complicated.
I am
I
an
don't
open
actually
book.
know that it
What-
is that complicated.
What were you going to say, Kurt?
I am an open book. What questions do you have?
Who commissioned you?
I can't remember her name.
Like, is that Kurt or is that Jake?
Well, yes and yes. No,
Ivana.
yeah.
I don't know
no,
if
I actually, because I remember I actually just read it on Ben's map earlier. She is explicitly listed there as because she is from the planet of Homoworlda.
Home world.
I'm terribly sorry, Mati. Would there be any facilities nearby that I could utilize? Is there a place you go?
Yes.
It's been several
Yes.
weeks for our friend.
Yes, I think she like gets up and it, like tilts her head like, I didn't know that was a thing here. And I think she like leads you like just out of this room. There's another area that has like some like cooking
If you simply
facilities. and
point
there's a
the way,
door.
I'm certain I could find
Yeah,
it.
she like walks you to the door and just gestures, and you see a door in the corner of the room, and she's like,
Stay to the right.
They walk to the door. Is there anybody? Is Martin still with us or no?
yeah. Martin is like standing quietly in the room, like holding his helmet under.
Like
one
how
arm.
close to like Jake and Doc? And I.
Not that close. He's kind of lingering near the door, trying to kind of like keep an arm's distance. Like there's some potential for whispering shenanigans. That'll probably make you make a stealth check or something.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, Ray is just gonna like lean in and whisper and be like, "Don't, Doc. This is so complicated. Like, if we are collecting information for Ivana, who might then be centralizing that information, it's in direct contrast to what she is trying to do here. It is
Right.
very,
I'm just
very
saying
complicated.
we don't collect the information of this place.
Why? What if? I don't know.
Can I have you make a stealth check? Why don't you roll? Yeah, make a stealth check. Go for it. Okay.
I have plate mail on. Does that matter?
No. It doesn't matter.
For
You're
your
whispering.
It'd actually be helping.
Exactly.
Unless Doc is like, what?
Yeah.
What? So we just don't write down any of this information?
Sorry, is Martin also a changeling?
As you're looking at him, he looks like a human, you know.
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Who's to say that she's going to
Yeah.
trust us that we won't write down this information, though? This is my worry. Or that she won't want the orb.
Martin, perhaps you could show me. It sounds as if the path is a bit complicated to get there.
Huh? Oh, I mean, okay. And I think he like goes like walking into the room, like he puts the helmet down at a table, and I think he like walks over to the door that Mati pointed to, and is like, he opens it, and is like, Yeah, this is it. It's
I apologize. It's space
no,
head.
it's I'm
The-
still
my
jarring
body
out
is
there.
not adjusted to the time difference.
All the starlight, yeah,
Yes.
the space dust. Yep.
I do think if like there's a moment where Reginald eventually gets alone,
Yeah.
which is the end goal here,
Yeah.
I think he will pull out the sending stone that he
Uh-huh.
will have taken
Mhm.
and just message back to the ship
Mhm.
that to be keeping an eye open and aware that they may have cause to want to keep the ship here. So to please alert us if anything. Yeah, just a heads up that there might
I
be
think-
reasons to stay cautious.
Yeah, I think you get word back from Lux. It's just like, you got it, Professor. We'll keep an eye. Oh, wait, hey, no, don't you? And then I think you hear like, yeah, they're here already. They're just watching us. They're not doing anything. But I'm gonna give them the ghost routine. I am a ghost. I am a ghost.
What, Nicholas? What people?
Yeah, there's like 3 of them. They're just standing here. They walked right out of the wall, but you guys walked through the wall. It's not real, is it? Should we leave you? We'll abandon you. We'll come back.
No. Stay. Hold the line.
Hey, I'm you. No, I got it, Professor. I got it. I got the rock back. You got it. What do you want me to do? Nicholas,
Control
stop
the
it.
Batman. No.
Yeah,
I'm
trying.
I want
Ben,
you.
get him. Don't let him touch that.
Goodness, one of these days. Just keep an eye out and let us know if the situation changes.
He'll tuck the stone back in his pocket.
Yep. So you guys are like whispering as like Mati has like walked back over and like is like standing in the doorway, kind of looking at the 3 of you, and she's just like, well, now you know we're here.
Yeah.
So where does that leave us?
Here?
Yeah, I don't understand. We don't need to tell anybody that you're here. Like,
Well, then we should be in a good position. I mean, that's my primary
Great.
concern.
yeah, we don't do that. You'll let us go, right? Like, we don't actually want to stay. Like,
Let us
fine,
go
but-
implies we're being held.
Well, I wasn't trying to hold you, though I wouldn't have let you go yet. But
Oh.
I'm feeling better about it with every minute.
Yeah,
Look, can I-
if you don't
I mean,
want
like-
us to record or something, we just won't. I mean,
Can I
Yeah,
ask you
exactly.
all explicitly? I don't really know a great way to resolve the trust issues that we have between us, but it sounds like your hope was to explore the remnants of the library and see what you might gather there.
yeah,
Well, there's something on the surface that I could use. Perhaps there is a negotiation here, because the fact is that unless you've done some major modifications and you have an incredible pilot, I don't know how you're going to touch down anywhere near there with that ship. The storm, the
I
asteroids.
mean, like, yes and yes, but, sure.
really.
I don't know that the mermaid qualifies as major modifications, but sure.
Yeah, we haven't made the major modification yet, but Jake and I are working.
And so I think Mati is like, you're on no time frame. You're being hunted by Occam, but he's not likely to find us here. He hasn't
Well-
yet.
Unless your people bring him here like they brought us.
Oh,
Yeah, this is my only thing. Is like, tell the kid not to bring people here.
I really wouldn't have done it. They were flying a dragonfly. They were going to get destroyed. How was I supposed to know? There's 4 of them standing outside on the deck in the middle of the thing. They're trying to shoot asteroids out of the way with the ballista. No offense. You're a pretty good shot. And I think that she's like, it's fine. The great ships, the main ships would not be invited back here.
What is it you seek possession of?
You know anything about plants?
Oh,
I think that's
I can
when
talk to
Reginald
him.
walks back in the room. Just pauses.
I had a pretty great chat with a plant just earlier today.
You can talk to plants? All right. Well, that's helpful.
I can talk to one plant.
I can talk to many plants, but much more limitedly than Doc was able to talk to that plant.
Well, that's specific, but also useful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have you ever heard of a chronolily? Why don't you make a nature check? Anybody who's proficient in nature or whatever.
I don't know her.
20!
Hey, Rhea.
Rhea, you have definitely heard about them because I think that they were integral to the Great Fearball migration.
Mm-hmm.
The chronolily is a type of plant that does not grow naturally in any of the known worlds. It exists in the ethereal plane, and only in the ethereal plane. It's one of the few plants that is known to exist in said space. They grow to be like massive, these singular bushes. And the sap in the inside of them, it's this kind of golden honey-like liquid that is used in Fearbog rituals, and which Clancy showed them prior to their great migration. Part of the reason that they were so fervently able to believe the truth that Clancy offered them is that the sap of the chronolily can be like processed and reduced to create a kind of extract that can be used for a sort of spiritual meditation and allows great and powerful insight about the future, as well as an ability to look backwards and see moments from the past. And so I think that probably there are some Fearbolgs that like would be tasked with like seeking this stuff out to be used on like the holy rituals to return to the day where like Clancy was amongst you and sent you to the stars, right? And so yes, I think she asked like, have you ever heard of a chrono lily?
Fucking right, I have. It's pretty important. Sorry for swearing. I'm not sure if we're.
Yeah.
I don't think we dropped an F-bomb.
Yeah, this is totally an adult stream. You're allowed to F-bomb a DM film.
Rhea.
What do you? Yeah. You got Chrono Lily here?
Jake looks at Ray in surprise. Is that one meme?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that Mati is like, have any of you ever been to the ethereal plane before?
No.
Cannot say that I have.
Well, you are explorers, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Best in the business.
Yes, we've been many places we've not been before, but we have never been there, so perhaps move it to the top of the list, eh?
Bridge has not always been here. It's where it needed to be, but Fred named the first community that he gathered up around him after the attack Bridge because he discovered a bridge from this realm, this plane of existence, to the near ethereal plane. In the centuries that passed afterwards, my family had to adapt. Those of us who led the survivors were forced to move. As the planet began to break and shred and rip, things changed. There's a long recounting. We have kept our own records. To that end, I know a great deal about what's transpired here in the centuries that have passed since the library was destroyed. But this place, this community that we have here, is centered around, well, I mean, at this point, I might as well just show you, eh? And I think she like walks to like one of the walls where there's like one of these huge paintings hanging there. And as you're looking at this painting, I think like it's a statue of these 5 individuals that you might recognize as a painting of the statue of the 5 once in front of the Great Library. And she literally just is like slides it. And it's clear it's on some, you recognize, Doc, that it's on some kind of like mechanical apparatus on the back, casters, rollers, whatever. It just slides easily out of the way. And literally what you're looking at in the wall is this huge circular panel. And peering through it is this like almost kind of grayish fog. It's like there's like a window in this wall into like some like foggy soup on the other side. And I think that she like takes a few steps back, turning to like look back at you. And she's like, that's a portal to the ethereal plane. you like that?
Portal to behind the painting. Really?
That's where we found the horses. That's really what has kept us alive for this long. They're very thoughtful creatures, discerning in the company that they keep. And
you mean to imply that we could go through that soup, that good soup of whatever, and obtain ethereal horses that could serve us?
Oh, no. The horses are... Well, we're lucky to have them here. Somebody a long time ago befriended one, and we have a relationship that has been long established. But I do mean to tell you, you could go through that soup into the ethereal plane, and you could travel on said ethereal plane from here to the world, what's left of it, what's left of the library, where there is a cronium lily blooming. And I am suggesting that if you, in fact, wish to pursue your agenda of exploration and get to said library, I could help you with this and perhaps some horses. Because there's no way you're going to be able to get your ship down there. And I would ask in return if you would be willing to bring me some portion of sap from the plant.
If we're unable to, will you allow us to return?
Of course. I'm not a torturer. I'm not here to hold you prisoner. I want no business in any of it. But I just want to establish trust. And the fact is that anyone who knows what a cronium lily is and is also willing to part with some manner of its sap, it's a good indicator that they're a relatively trustworthy person. And it would at least give us a basis of a working relationship forward. I don't intend to hold you here, but I won't lie. I would be very frightened to let you go right now.
What are you doing with the chronology?
I think that she explains much of what Rhea already knows, but for the sake of everybody else, I think she says the sap can be used to create a powerful agent that allows visions of what might yet come to pass, insight into decisions leading into the future, but it allows us to take our mind's eye and look into the past with absolute clarity. Part of what we do here is looking back.
So, will you want it for the purpose of, is it meditative? Is it protective? Like, why do you want this ability?
When Fred took the 7 orbs and killed his crew, he spent a good deal of time here before he would move on. But the word that he left was to share what he had. There are rumors and legends of what happened to him after he moved on from this place. Suffice to say that those of us who remained, the generations that came before me, have looked to recover as much of the knowledge as possible from that place. I want to see back. It's part of what we always have done.
Yes, our purpose is to move through space in order to collect information. I could understand the impulse to move through time as well, to achieve the same. Mati, if I may, you presented an incredible offer to us, and one that is quite intriguing. I should very much like to discuss this with my fellow travelers, if we might have a moment.
Yes, you may. Well, all right. I don't want to displace you.
That it is not without its risks, traveling between planes, being such as it is.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm trying to move past my own concerns. Martin.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Friend.
I think she's like, Martin, let's give them a bit of privacy, shall we? And she steps into the hall, like holding the door open. And Martin's like, okay? Okay. Yeah. Okay. And he steps out into the hall. And I think she's like, she's like looking down the hall, and I think you see her now like lean down, like, oh, hello. No, of course I didn't forget you. Don't, do you mind if I leave my dog here, though, while we go?
Us?
Yes, are any of you afraid of or allergic to dogs?
Oh, this just suddenly got very real.
Whatever, yes.
Yeah.
But fine.
All right, good. And at this point, I think that she's like, just head right in. Yes, stay right in there. And you see this dog come like trotting into the room, and it's got like these glimmering silver eyes.
I thought we had a handle on it. Now we got moon
It's got these
dogs?
glimmering silver
It's
eyes.
gonna be like, those dogs are totally spying on us.
Yeah.
This long,
I don't know why we
hog
said
thin beard. It's
They
just one
look
dog.
Grumpy.
And he comes like trotting into the room, and he's like, he like kind of like sniffs the air at the lot of you, and he sort of just like trots past you all back to like the other room where the professor went. And I think that you hear the sound of him like as he's like eating and like slurping up water out of a bowl. And she's like, I know, I'm sure you think he's spying on you. He's merely going to make sure you don't steal anything. He won't repeat anything that you say, I promise. He's got a very high ethical standard, which I'm sure sounds very strange to you, but he does.
Ray is
all right.
like eyeing Mati to see if she's telling you the truth.
Go for it. Make an insight check.
You won't mind if I leave my dog here.
Yeah. And so you're like getting a read that she's like shooting you pretty straight here.
Yeah.
You feel like since you've arrived. And I think you're like looking at her or whatever, and I think Rhea, the dog, turns and like looks at you, and you just hear this voice in your mind like, no, you're good.
Okay.
So what's your name? Sorry?
My name?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Zabar.
Nice to meet you. Okay, no spying, but we won't steal
Listen.
anything.
I'm gonna go over here and take a nap.
Okay.
Puppies have run me ragged, but just don't steal anything.
No, for sure.
Rhea, are
Rich.
you okay? Sorry, continue. Go ahead, Kurt.
Oh no, I was saying, like, I'm getting the sense that these would not be considered beasts.
That's a good sense.
I figured that's something Jake would know that Kurt
Yeah.
might not. But
Yeah, that's a good sense. It's
Okay.
definitely like an extra planar magical dog.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
Different opportunities. Thank you.
Rhea would be wondering about the Chrono Lily and whether, like, the agreement basically to go get some of the sap and give it to Mati, whether in like one flower, if there's one flower there, would there probably only be enough sap to, like, that we'd have to provide it all to Mati is something that Rhea is wondering. And then I guess, yeah, that's the first question, because the second question depends on the
Okay,
answer
question
first.
1. Like, Rhea's probably never seen one of these flowers before, and so
Got it.
doesn't have a great gauge. But you know that, like, if the plant's big enough, you could definitely extract more than one dose from it. If it's a mature plant, it's not like a one and done type deal.
And then the second question is, like, whether Rhea has any sense of whether the skills it takes to take that and turn it into, like, an extract. Basically.
I think like Rhea has like an understanding of that. Yeah, is Rhea proficient in the herbalism proficiency? Kate?
No. No.
I think like an herbalist or an
but
alchemist.
Doc is.
Somebody is. An herbalist or an alchemist could do this. So like Rhea has an idea of the process. Like you've got the recipe, but you've never actually like baked it before, right?
Yeah, got it.
That just sounds like street slang, like, you know. So
Well, I'm proficient. with her.
you proficient in the herbalism?
You got the extract?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So I think like with the dog here, I think Reginald is just going to say, look, I believe that we should assume that anything we say here will ultimately be known. So it seems unnecessary to keep our cards close to the chest.
Zabar said no, but I didn't.
The dog, whatever.
Yeah.
It seems a genuine offer. It seems an interesting experience, to say the least. I do share concerns about leaving our ship here with the few upon it. But I don't know if that is a concern that is shared or must be shared.
Well, I guess one thing is that if they could just go get this stuff, why wouldn't they just go do it? They have dragon horses, so it must be pretty hard to go get it. So
Right.
that either
I'll be
means
the
that they are,
sacrificial lambs.
yeah,
so
that
to
either
say.
means that we need to, they need people who can go do it, or we will be so caught up in doing it that our ship is ripe for taking.
I feel like they have more to lose trusting us than we do trusting them.
She has a picture of our ship on her wall.
And I should say
Yeah.
there are at least 3 people now currently observing the ship.
Yeah.
We are under the impression that there are hundreds here. We have a lot to lose.
Yeah, but they've got like an entire an entire community here that they're risking us like telling everybody about. Like there's only, I don't know.
Yeah, but if they send us in to die and then take over the ship and kill them,
Mission accomplished.
how are we gonna? Yeah,
They will never forgive us.
Ivana would be pretty mad.
Exactly.
Perhaps we should consult our colleagues we'd be leaving behind. It seems that they would be the ones to bear the brunt of any sort of turn of favor.
The agreement, though, is that in the material plane we will that she will guide us to where the library was, and if there's anything left, we are welcome to it. Basically, right? Is the
I
agreement?
think what she was saying is she can like offer you like she didn't say the word scout, but like a way to the library and escort. She mentioned maybe with the horses, right? And the deal was like not even that there's like an agreement, but like look, like if you want to go there, this is the way to get there. Because like
Right.
going
We
through
have
the
to
prime
travel
material
on the
plane is a
material
nightmare.
on the ethereal plane, right?
Right. And so
Because
by
it's
going
unsafe.
exactly by going through like the ethereal plane, you'd be able to like get where you want to go already and do what you want to do, and bringing like being willing to like share this stuff with her or bringing it back to her is just going to like engender trust and put you all in like a position to have like a better working relationship for whatever comes next, if anything, right? Because it is this very awkward thing where like, yeah, they definitely have a lot to lose, and she seems like she's being pretty straight up, like, look, I don't want to hold you here, but also how do I just like let you go when you know where we are now? It's
Right.
kind of awkward.
I have a bit of an interest in the Chrono Lily, but I mean, we could go. It's probably enough that we could. There might be enough that we could keep some ourselves. Pretty great, you guys.
I think it is certain that the path forward, the way in which we were proceeding, would not serve us well. And if we have any interest in going to the library, this is the way forward. I would not feel right stepping in were we not willing to follow through with the promise to return some of this sap to Mati.
Yeah.
Is that something you would be willing to do, Rhea?
Yeah. You want to insight check me?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if Rhea is okay with it and those back at the ship are, then I am in sort of a flip-flop type situation.
Jake looks at your feet.
Yeah, I'm wearing sandals. Yeah. No.
Socks.
Doc, Jake, what do you think?
I think as stupid as it was, Martin saved our lives out there. And I don't know a lot of people like me.
A lot of people like you, yes, of course. Why on earth would you question that? You did not say that. I apologize.
I don't know. We tend to shoot pretty straight because nothing else about us is all that easy. So I don't know. I trust her.
Okay.
Jake, are you up for some turtle soup? No, not like that. No, simply going into the soup.
Reginald, how
terribly. That is not. It was the soup that turtles enjoy. It's not. Oh goodness. I'm
don't hear
going
people
to put
say,
my flip-flop in my mouth.
This is good human soup. That implies that there's humans in the soup, Rich.
Are you not familiar with fisherman's soup? It is the thing that fishermen eat, not made of fishermen.
I will be entering the soup.
Literally never heard of that soup before.
I trust the people we have met here. Our mission is to document information and that we find, and we're at a library. I have zero issues with this agreement.
Very well,
with
then.
The understanding that we're not documenting here, right?
I
think that remains.
Yes, that is right.
Dog.
Yes.
I think Ray is I am a bit confused, like they say they don't want people to know about that they're here, but also they would like to spread information about, like, the whole reason they want the sap is to go back in time to get the information to be able to then spread information. And then also they don't want us to talk about information, but they'll let us go to the library. It is all a little bit confusing, but I don't know.
Is this getting close to the no time travel paradox talk?
No paradoxical time travel.
No paradoxical time travel. We have a ban on that, I believe.
That is true. That we do have a ban on paradoxical time travel. Yes. It's not literal time travel. It's like visions, you know.
Yeah.
We don't need paradox. We just have one doc, and she's
Wow. Okay, I will ask a clarifying question to the DM though, because Grace, you now have confused my brain as well in your good question, which is, was her point that they're trying to they have collected information and they're trying to understand more about where they're coming from, but also they're concerned about that information getting out to the broader world?
There's a real contradiction, which, like, Grace has illuminated, which is that, like, and Monty's been talking about it, like, look, I'm conflicted. Like, they're all about, like, the preserving the information. Like, she sees the value in knowledge. Only with the knowledge of, like, what's come before can we make, like, better choices going forward. But one of the better choices we have to make going forward is that there's not a centralized government that's trying to, like, rule as the absolute authority over us all, right? So the real breakdown is, like, and then you layer that with, like, also, we don't want anyone to know we're here, right? Like, her whole deal is, like, the information here is super important. It's super valuable. It should be preserved. What's, like, left of it should try to, like, be recovered. But whose hands it falls into is everything, right? Because, like, the people who are here hunting for it, the mercenary guilds, the trade guilds, the religious zealots, like, no bueno. You know what I mean? She clearly, like, feels bad about any of them having it. And that's this dance that she's kind of having with you of, like, okay, you have a dragonfly and a patron that you're not really telling me about. Like, how do I know who the fuck you people work for? You know, how do I know you're not like an expeditionary force for Ibsen's Castle Guard or whatever?
Yeah. The best part is that we basically don't know why we're doing this. We don't know why we're doing it for free.
I know. Yeah.
So it's, like, very slippery if she's just like, oh, you're doing it for you fun? She's trying to create a centralized government of information. So, yeah.
So there is like a lot of conflict. It's muddy, you know. It's like sort of like, it's definitely not like black and white. There's nuance here. I hope I just explained that effectively for all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what we do about that though. I mean, I think we go in. I think.
As with all things, information is a tool that can be used for good or for ill. How you use the information is something that can be decided at any time, multiple times, in fact. But it is useless if it is not gathered and understood. So we should at least go through the effort to collect it. Then we can discuss with Mati, Yavanna, whomever else, how it is best used. No?
Sure. I agree.
Good. I apologize. I was concerned that something like this might happen. And
yeah,
I blame myself for not saying something sooner. Right. Let me check with those back on the ship. And
the dog is just like in the other room, like snoring away, you know, curled up.
Lux, come in. Lux.
I think you hear like
Lux.
Oh, hey, Professor! Lux gave me the rock and told me to keep it away from Nicholas. Nicholas, get out of here! It's easier for me because I have wings.
Yes, it is, Ben. We are proceeding upon a mission through, well, you would know, the ethereal plane.
The
in order-
ethereal plane, that's remarkable.
Yes, it does mean you'd be left alone, defenseless in a way, short of the ballistas, and simply to say, are you okay with that?
I mean, I feel like I'm never really alone anymore. We've got this talking plant. The Sharp Jumper is a magnificent conversationalist. You wouldn't really think it having a look at him here. I love this Yavanna person. They're wonderful. They've got these delightful ears. I mean, I think, I trust your judgment.
I believe their name is Yana, not to be confused with Yavanna, but that is
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I've been calling you the wrong name this whole time. You're supposed to choose your name, not me. Why didn't you correct me? What's that? Oh, I'm sorry. 2 conversations at once. Hang on a second here.
Me hang on? Or...
No, not you. Them. No, you're okay. You keep going.
I'm done.
Oh, no, not you. Hold on a second. I'm talking to Yana. Hold on. Oh, no, wait. Hold on. Luck says they want the rock back. I'm sorry. Yeah, what's going on?
Please protect him. Please protect him.
Old Ben, nobody'll touch him. Don't worry about it.
We are going on a trip. We'll be back soon. If something occurs, let us know.
Sure.
Good God. I think he puts the rock away.
It's like a circus back on that shit. I mean, could you really imagine how ridiculous it would be? Yeah. Anyway.
That kobold could be trapped in a fire and think that the world was simply more exciting. Right then. Is there anything else to discuss?
Nope.
Okay. Marty? What? Martin?
Zabar, could you go get...
snoring in the
Hey,
other room.
I just try to wake up the dog.
Yeah.
Let sleeping dog... Never mind.
The dog like wakes up. Yeah.
Could you go get, let them know that we're done talking? Did you hear any of that? You're sleeping?
No, I was mostly sleeping. I'm not here. I don't do that kind of thing. I've got a really strict code of ethics. Yeah,
Right.
I can go find
How
it.
were you going to make sure we weren't stealing anything while you were sleeping?
Well, everything's
Just
back
like
there.
looking at you, Jack, and is like, all right, yeah, I'll go get him. Like you're hearing this like voice in your mind, and I think that yeah, with that, the dog like starts like striding into the room a little bit, and then it proceeds to like phase out the same way you saw the horses phase out, and just like vanishes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you're still alone for like a couple more minutes here.
Yeah.
So this is where I'll gut check with you guys as players. It's 10:53.
Yeah.
How's everybody feeling?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm
That's a
also
nod.
okay.
It's a nod. Okay.
Yeah.
And so-
I mean, I'm down to hop into a window of soup and see where that leads for the next
Okay.
hour or so or whatever. But
Okay.
Maybe
I think-
not in an hour.
Okay. I got you. I won't keep you for an hour. I think that with that, like after a few more minutes pass, like the door opens again, and Monty is standing there with like Zabar, the dog, next to her, and she's like, "Well, your game then? Do you need anything? Rest, food, anything? You're just ready for it."
Kind of what we do.
Yeah, might as well do it now.
yes.
Well, I have to
Unless
say
there's
that-
anything that you
Oh.
know we should take.
Yeah, do you have like healing potions or like anything like that?
Healing potions, no. There are goods that some of the folk have here. If you're welcome to make your way and check the shops, the traders, see if anybody has anything that you want, but we do not have many things like that. They're not like you, most of the people here.
Yeah.
Some few of us ride the dragon horses and scout the perimeter of the outer cluster just to make sure that we're able to see any of the ships that arrive before they see us. The ethereal is helpful in that way. You'll be able to see out of it often, but there are dangers.
Yes, that was one of my questions. Do you have any insight as to what we might encounter as we get closer?
Yes. There are, there are plenty of things that I'm certain I have not yet encountered, but...
Percentages, just the most likely things. Anything more than, let's say, a 20% chance of encountering.
Phase spiders,
Mm-hmm.
ghosts, poltergeists, many of the spirits of those who were lost themselves with the attack linger yet in the ethereal. They are common there and dangerous. Number one reason why I've only been there a handful of times in my years. To travel through the ethereal and you merely will it. You think and you will go. You can move in any direction. There is a down, but you are not beholden to gravity in the way that you would be here. That
I
said,
am very beholden to gravity.
I think she says, well, my friend, there you won't be. That said, you will not be able to move incredibly fast, so the horses won't bear you unless they know you, and well, but I do have a chariot, so I can escort you to as close as I'm able to get myself responsibly. I can't afford to die. I hope you understand.
Sure. Why do you think we're gonna be able to do it?
I think like she like looks over you and like Rhea in the plate mail with the trident and the shield, you know, and like Jake with the bracers and the bow at his back, the hammer, the professor who just clearly is a gift you and looks awesome.
He's
And,
wearing a tweed suit. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
what could
And-
possibly go wrong?
While like, you know, Doc has been very present tonight, like Waffle has been underutilized or underrepresented on my behalf as, like, I think like she's gesturing over the lot of you, like, how many worlds have you seen since you first stepped foot on that ship, wherever you started? How many battles have you fought?
Like,
5
You know.
and 13.
She says, I can put my nephew in an ornate helmet and chainmail, but he's little more than a good rider. She says, I can look at the lot of you and see that you're people who have faced dangers before, or you wouldn't be arrayed as such. You're not diplomatic envoys, and frankly, your garb and equipment are part of the reason that I believe the story you're telling me. She says, I don't know if you're able to communicate with your friends on the ship, though I would assume you can, and I have gone and seen it now with my eyes. Some of my people are watching it still, just to make note, should they leave, but they don't seem to. So she shrugs, like, I'm not trying to send you into undue danger. A lot of you know your capabilities, well, better than anyone, I'd imagine, but you're certainly far better equipped than any of the folk who live here.
We are pretty
And-
badass.
I think she, like, chuckles, like, it seems like all I know is that there are very few people here that I would trust to do this beside myself, and it's hard for me to justify putting myself at risk in the way that I did when I was younger.
Mati, I do not think that we require much more convincing at this point.
Then,
However, given the new information that is available to us, I could be of better use with a bit of rest. It is simply a question of risk. There are things that I cannot do today that perhaps I could do tomorrow.
That sounds like procrastination.
I think she's like, I do have chambers that are being prepared for you should you wish to stay if you want to sleep. She says, the chromium flower, it grows at its own pace. It will be there tomorrow just as it was there yesterday. So I'm in no rush. This is not a pressing issue. And frankly, time here will only help my people see you in better light. Less fear, I mean. It's up to you what you wish to do, but I could...
She said that there were shops. We could go to the shops and then rest for the night and go after 8 hours rest.
Yeah. Just out of context, it's just a question of do the players want to... Would the other players be willing to wait for Reg?
Well,
Yeah,
I didn't even think about it, but it makes sense for Rhea, too, to potentially swap some of the spells that I have.
Just to get like super out of it, yeah, and like double check with the players, right? So like we got a couple options here. Like option one, like certainly you guys could like just yada yada a long rest, swap spells, jump through the portal. Option two, you could like take a long rest. We could like spend a little bit of time like exploring bridge and talking to like people here, maybe shopping, maybe unloading some shit, buying shit, whatever, and like omit stepping through the portal tonight, see who's here next week to like move on. Yeah. Those seem like two viable things. I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm here for whatever. Yeah, Lux is on the Dragonfly, like pinging. Ping. Bing, 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 bing.
I did think about that one.
Mm-hmm.
I had a moment of like, oh shoot, we're not going to get to explore bridge, so I'm like very down for that. But
yeah, I feel like it makes them, just from like circumstance and what we're doing here, that it would make sense that we don't jump into the portal if we're going to be like to have less than an hour to keep playing.
It's true.
Yeah.
And there's also, who's here next week is like mostly dependent on you guys and your availability. So if you guys want to like play next week, you are more than welcome to like take whoever else along with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think
upon further consult with those on the ship, there's a possibility that some there might have interest in what is here. So perhaps we take the night.
Okay.
Figure out what is best and explore bridge.
I think that with that, my tea is like, I think that that's actually a good idea. Perhaps some time here with everybody will give you a little bit more assurance that what you're doing is for a good reason. And it will certainly ease the minds of my people that you have no ill intents.
You said that some of the pictures that they have on the wall, some of them are like just like completely damaged, right? There's like pieces missing. Some of them you said were like water logged or water damaged. Would Rhea know if her like mending cantrip would like fix something from being water logged, like water damaged?
Yeah, it would.
And so then
it would.
So Rhea would ask Mati, like, some of these paintings, they look like they're not in, or the things you have on the wall, they're not in great shape. Is that the way you want them? I could try to fix them, but I don't know if you want to keep them that way for the look and feel of these old documents, I don't want to fix something that you didn't think needed fixing.
I think she like quirks her head a little bit and is like, I'd be open to it, I suppose, as long as you don't think you're going to make them any worse. I have not skill in matters like that, but they merely were as they were when they were found. If you think you could repair them,
Sure, Rhea will try. Like walk up to one of the paintings that looks like water damaged and try to cast mending on it.
Yeah, and I think as you like cast mending, I think you see like the water damage almost begin to like recede as the colors like brighten and start to like just fill in, and the whole like painting like returns to like a bit more like vibrancy, as it were, after like you doing this thing. Yeah.
What is her reaction?
Yeah, and I think that she like takes a step back, like, my word, that is something. I sort of can't believe that they've been here for centuries and nobody thought of that before.
Yeah, it's just
amazing.
a cantrip. Yeah.
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 You would think that one of the leaders of this hidden community on the
Yeah.
edge of the ethereal plane would be able to cast that cantrip, but no.
No, I thought
I
it would
apologize.
have just
Rhea,
been like a
what did you
looks
call
thing,
it?
you know, like mending.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
No,
the-
a can. Yeah, can. Yeah, I don't know what it means. Like, you can trip if you want to. You can. Yeah. I guess I think
heard
that's what
that
it means.
word before in my entire life.
Yeah, yeah. I can do it to the other ones if you want, but you know, it's up to you.
Yeah, I think that she like will walk you around and like it like guides you, directs you to like a few of the other ones, and yeah, like Rhea, I think that like you cast a couple of like mendings and like repair some of these like water damaged, age damaged, like battered, like paintings and like
you have-
images
do you have
that are
mending
down
doc?
here.
Yeah, I do. I've never used it,
Jock,
but I
do
have
it. Try it. It's so fun. Just like touching paintings around
Yeah.
the room.
Yeah,
Every 6 seconds.
Just moving around, just painting. Yeah,
I think
I have it to bring Waffle back, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
you definitely need it. That's like big time waffle healing. I think that one of like the paintings is in fact like a whole bunch of like these ships. You see these like other ships that like evoke similar vibes to the Dragonfly as you're kind of like scoping out the wasps and like, oh wow, there were like once like other things. And I think she talks about them for a bit and is like, we know very little, but according to what's been kept and what I've gone through, after the 5 first traveled off of their world across the stars, they spread much information like seeds that germinated across the universe. The Ziri engine was revolutionary for many of the civilizations and societies that they came in contact with, and many of them would go on to build a great variety of vessels that led to what we see nowadays, though these smaller crafts, expeditionary vessels like this are rarely ever seen in the world now. Generally the great caravels, the trade freighters. I mean, certainly you would know better than I. We are lucky if every few years we see one. We're unlucky, really, if we see them, but anyway, it's quite a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that the dog is like awake at this point and is kind of following her around, like tongue lolling a little bit, and she's like sort of throwing it treats. And she's like, you wanted to see everything though? Come. I can show you what there is. It's not a sprawling place, but we've made do. And I think that like she leads you like walking back out into like this great plaza, and when you like start making your way down the hall, you're hearing even more voices than you did before, right? And like it's that hushed kind of whispering crowd energy. And as like Mati kind of walks out with like Zabar at her side and a lot of you behind, she's just like smiling and kind of nodding to people. And I think that like she speaks up like just once, and she's like, these people mean us no harm. They're going to stay here with us for the night, maybe longer. They've offered us help, a service, something that will be of great use for all of us. I encourage you to speak with them, meet them. I hope that my instincts are right, but I think they mean us no harm. I know they mean us no harm now, or certainly they would have acted already, but I think that they will cause us no harm in the long run, which is perhaps the more important. And then I think, like, as an afterthought, she's like, the dog approves. And, like, I think you see a few people, like, nod. Like, yeah. And so she, she, like, walks you around and, like, begins to show you. She's like, I certainly don't want you to make, like, you feel like you have a chaperone, but,
No, we appreciate a guide of any type, any sort of insight as to what are the main points, the things that, of the points of interest, so to say.
well, food is one of our most pressing needs. She says water actually collects. The caverns extend deeper below this, and we have, over the centuries, we've refined means of collecting and gathering it. There are pools down there, separated drinking water, of course. We have areas for bathing and swimming. The children find it quite refreshing if any of you would like to take a swim or clean yourselves. And we have found a way to cultivate great stores of various fungi and mushrooms. It's a primary source of our sustenance at this point, though we raise a number of animals here that offer us other means of food. She's like, we have, of course, deep roth that we're able to take milk from, cheese, grains.
Yes.
Cheese man.
I was concerned that life without cheese is one I should hope not to ever live.
That's
Perhaps-
a great nickname for you, Cheese Man, just by the way.
God, I'm sorry.
I think it is not, but I appreciate
Fine.
the notion.
I think she's like, we've actually found exceptional means of refining metals. We extract a great deal of ore from the surrounding asteroids. It's slow to transport volumes of it back here, but nonetheless.
Oops.
She's like, we have a number of smithies.
Cheese and bacon. Sorry.
Shit. And I think that, like, yeah, Mati is like walking around, and you see amidst all of like these vendors, there's like a lot of like people that are selling like mushrooms, cheeses. There's like eggs that you see. Like the breads are in short supply, unfortunately, but there's the makings of a decent charcuterie board. You're guessing. A number of like crafts people. I think that she's like, we've had a number of artisans. There's been a resurgence in glasswork recently in the past few generations, and I think like she brings you to like this one kind of like you see that there's like a door in the back. It looks like there's a dwelling probably similar to hers, and out in front of it are like this array of like these kind of pieces of like almost what we would think of like sun catchers and stuff like that, even like wind chimes. And then there's all manner of sort of like decanters and plates, cups, like formed out of glass.
I wonder if it would be too forward to ask. Alcohol? Do you have a place of drink?
Of course. Come, I'll bring you to the common room. And I think that like she leads you down like a different hallway out of like the central area, and you hear the sound of like music coming from down the hall. And she's like, it's hard to judge time here. We have old enchantments that have preserved themselves for a long, long time. I have no idea really how they work, but the light cycles itself, and we count our days through the transitioning of the orbs which glow. And I think you see a couple of them, like this dim kind of white soft light above you. And she's like, it's late afternoon now, so there'll be plenty of people here gathering for their evening sup. It's a great culture of writers, actually, poets, song makers. Our lives are rather small and contained. Entertainment is always important. And as she like leads you down towards the end of the hall, you see that like there is no door; it just kind of opens into like this big sprawling area, and there's a whole bunch of like stone tables and benches, and like what looks like a stone kind of bar in the back as she brings you over to it. The light in here is much more colorful and like kaleidoscopic. There's all these torches burning of like different colors, green and purple, like blue and red. So there's all these various kind of hues in the spaces, and as you come in, I think that you note like a handful of changelings in their like natural appearance, Doc. There's like a dwarf sitting up at the bar, like next to a halfling, and she's like leads you over to the bar, and I think that you see this like big burly looking guy. He looks like a human. His head is shaved and he has all these tattoos kind of like woven around it, and this big thick beard, and the fellow is just kind of like Mati, you bring the visitors here. I'm so excited. Hello, welcome to the common room.
Hello. I am Professor Reginald Frybottom. This is Rhea, Doc, Waffle, and Jake.
I am Kim. I am Kim. I am the proprietor of this place, I suppose
Kim.
you could say. Indeed.
Well, what is on offer to drink?
And I think my tea is like, let them try it all. And Kim is like, well, we have a number of things. I mean, we have the fermented milks, of course. Are you in for a thicker palate or a thinner? And I think like he starts taking down like a series of bottles off of the shelves and like kind of lining them up on the bar. And he slides out to each of you these very kind of ornate glasses. And he's like, we make a variety of wines. We call them from the fungi. They are much better than one might imagine. Delightful. And I think that you see in one is like this kind of like thin bluish liquid, and then there's also like a stone sort of like carafe, you know. And he's like, the fermented milks, of course, are good.
But
The lady said all. I think we're here to try it all.
yes, some sort of sampler of light, a little bit of everything.
Right. We don't have guests very often. And Mati is like, relax.
I was
Kim.
going to say we'll try our best to fit in, but it seems a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I think the halfling next to you chuckles and is like,
Biggest challenge you'll ever face. We have not seen anyone like you here ever. Well, maybe once. I haven't. I'm not that old. Who knows? Anyway, good to meet you.
Yes.
They call me Yak.
Yak.
You'll want to start with the thin stuff and work your way up to the roast milk. That will knock you on your ass, though you are 4 times bigger than me, so perhaps you would need to drink more of it, but it's strong.
and so I think that with that, Kim starts like pouring out like the sampler of drinks. And yeah, he starts you with this like mycelium wine is what he calls it. There's not like an enormous spread, right? There's like 4 or 5 different like fermented beverages, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, I think he gives you like the Blue Moon Wonder, which is also like fermented from mushrooms. Jeepers. And then
I think at some point,
Yep.
I do think at some point, like Reginald probably will try to surreptitiously cast like a ray of frost type, like a managed version of it in order to chill down the wine a bit more in his hand, you know.
Excellent. Very doable. And so like I think that like with like you're trying to like keep it kind of low key, but I think like Kim probably would be like that's a trick. That's a good trick. Maybe you could teach me that before you go. everything room temperature here, but yes, I could imagine a cold drink would be delightful. Could you try? I would try that. I would try that.
Yes, of course. Here, if you'd like to pour yourself one, I'd be happy to chill it for you.
And so, yeah. So you guys can drink. Everybody's gonna like drink a little bit of everything. Like the stuff is like pretty good and pretty strong. And I think you would like find yourself like moderately intoxicated if you're like rocking through the whole like sampler of these various like 5 beverages, right?
Yeah.
Most of them are mushrooms. There's a couple of different like variations of the fermented roast milk. They're all like strong. I think that like food would be provided for you as well along the way. There's a kind of like a strange mushroom fondue pot and like a series of like sandwiches that are made with like these big wide kind of mushroom caps and have like egg and cheese on them, right?
Do we get the sense that like most of the people here are like artisans? Are they like miners? Are they what's the
Yeah,
is it a combination? What's going on here?
I think in this space, it is a combination, right? Like there seem to be a couple of people in here that look like their hands are calloused and they have like soot and grime on their face as they're like before they've like gone to the bathing pools or whatever for the night. But there are a great deal of artisans here. I think that there are people here in the common room that you see are kind of like watching, and they have like mostly kind of like stone, like thin pieces of like sheets of stone that you're watching them kind of like scribble and draw on. You get the impression that like they're drawing like pictures of you because a lot of you are like amongst you, certainly like unusual to them. You are unique. And there are a good number of like musicians and like singers over the course of like the next like hour or so while you're like hanging out in here. There's not entirely like a stage, but you're seeing people kind of like they go to like one side of the room and like take a seat on one of the tables, and there are a variety of like strange kind of like instruments that they're playing, things that look like harps, drums, certainly, and yeah, I think that there's like it seems like a mix. Like certainly it's not an industrial kind of society, but there are some people that seem tasked with like that like craftsman purpose, right? Those more utilitarian like functions of this place. But there are a great deal of artists amongst them, for sure.
Well, it seems we found ourselves a bit of a haven here out in the spiral, yes?
And I think Mati is like, that's all that I've ever desired, really, was to keep safe these people. My mother was better at this than I was. She had my father, of course, as well. Between the pair of them, they had good judgment, but nonetheless, I just try to foster growth. Keep them all learning, eager to learn, and make sure that they remember.
Doing a great job.
And yeah, I don't know if this is too like random and freeform for you guys, but I guess the notion is like after like an hour or so, she would like ask of you like, what do you want to see? Where do you want to go? Is there anything that like, what do you want? What do you guys want to do?
I was gonna ask. You said there were changelings in the bar. Are they like talking to each other, or they're just like scattered throughout the group?
There were a couple like sitting at a table, kind of like talking to each other for sure.
I think Doc's definitely just been like watching them a lot, but.
And I think like Mati even then would like ask you like as she sees you maybe like looking at them and be like, you don't know many of our kin, huh?
No, not really.
I've wondered.
It's been a long time.
She kind of like nods at you and is like, I've always wondered, to be quite honest with you. Well, there's some of us here, but I've heard that out there are communities of just our people, and I've always wondered what that's like. If they're ill-intentioned or well-meaning, if they govern well.
Me too.
I think she's like,
There's at least one.
some of them quite enjoy playing tricks and games, and the others, many of them are actors. We have plays. Perhaps if you stay for a time, you might see one, but others find it very disconcerting to wear someone else's face, or at least one that's not their own.
Yeah. I get that. I like to, feel like myself.
I think she's like, you have orbs? An orb? You've been gathering them? Seeking them? I think she's asking like the lot of you as the drinking has gone on through the night.
Oh, yeah.
And she like looks to Jake, like nodding, smiling, like.
Yes, we were given one orb when we departed, and came upon another in the course of our travels. The information in them is very incomplete and inaccurate. It's at times at the point of unhelpful.
But if you have any questions that begin with the letters J and K or P, we may be able to help you.
I think she's like, I don't know how many there are still lingering down there on the surface, but well, I wish you luck. I'm very confounded at all of this. I didn't expect to. Well, I don't know what I expected. But I didn't expect to meet anybody so willing to help. I hope that what you've seen so far is encouraging. We don't have any great purpose here. The truth is, I've questioned many times over the years whether we're making the right choice, staying cloistered up in this place. But I don't know if it's something I'm just overthinking, or I don't know. Nonetheless, I'm grateful.
My father once said to me, Reginald, the day you stop thinking is the day that you die. Thinking is good. It can get out of hand, but it is good. It is what keeps us and those around us alive. And so, perhaps us coming here was a sort of sign that there is opportunity beyond this rock. But I guess if we don't return from the soup into which we go tomorrow, then you'll have something else to think.
I hope you do. Not just because I want the sap. I hope we can get to know each other a bit better. I don't know what you've seen out there so far, but I have questions. I would love to seek some answers.
So do we. So do we, Marty.
And perhaps on that note, that's where we leave our adventurers tonight, as the group of you like sit here in this strange bar on this strange community inside of the strange asteroid that has a portal to the ethereal plane inside of it. And intelligent dogs and dragon horses and the like. And yeah, I think that's where we'll leave our adventures today.
That whole time, Ray is just like thinking, like, did is Yavanna just like, have we been hired by someone who is just
Yep.
like, totally antithetical to what this
Yep.
person is
Are
trying
we
to
the
do,
baddies?
and having
Are we
no,
the
yeah, are we the
baddies?
baddies basically.
I hope that was interesting for you guys. Like, I don't know. I
Right.
feel like I might have been
Yeah.
like overwhelming with like weird information and like I don't know. I like we were role playing a lot tonight. It was fun. I had fun, but I always have fun, so I never have a great gauge. Yeah.
It was
It's
good.
like
That's cool.
it's the like push and pull though of being like do we tell her we have an orb? Like, do we say that? As I really love Jackie was being like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we got an orb.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Totally.
we got an orb. We've been drinking for like a lot of drinks in like an hour. Yeah, we have an orb. Yeah, like I was
I-
very much wondering about being like, so do you know you like it's so risky.
Yeah.
I was really curious how you guys would like engage with all this. Like I had been thinking a lot this week, and like certainly like yeah, there's a whole like ethereal plane with stuff. I've always said ethereal. It's just
No, it's
how I've been
I
reading
love
it for
that that's
20
the way
years.
that she says it, right?
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
says ethereal, and
Yeah.
and others say ethereal and
Yeah.
aluminium. You know,
So, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I've been thinking a lot, and I've been like sitting here like all week consuming this book, which may or may not track the like planar handbook from third edition. And I saw some of our friends in the like help thread over at
I saw
PSR
that.
chatting about this, and I was like, oh, eyes emoji. Like you guys are on track with where I'm going this week, and so yeah. I hope that this is like kind of interesting. I thought a lot about like, yeah, all these planets at least that I drew on this map that old Ben just happened to have. Yep.
What's
I
so
was
interest-
thinking. Oh, go ahead, Troy.
Oh, please,
No,
Grace,
I was
go.
going to change the subject a bit. So
I was going to say, I think what's interesting is that, like, I think that we still have so much at the surface level to process and react to as a crew with
Mhm.
each other that, like, so much of our conversations are still just about, like, us talking about that other thing, right? And that, like, it's still going to, like, it's taking us longer and longer to, like, talk to each other as each other, right?
Mhm.
Because there's so much that is outside of our experience that we're all like going through, right? So it's like, I think that like opportunities like today like bring us closer, and but it's always still through that lens of that, the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ray has definitely want to talk about the Chrono Lily, but every single like the only times where we were like alone, Ray never. I don't really felt like we were ever knowing whether we were truly alone. You know?
Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
Yeah.
like part of the reality of like, oh yeah, let me come into like this strange house at this strange city that's actually just a hole in an asteroid where all you people live. Like, yeah, they're like, yeah, sure, go be alone with this telepathic dog.
Even when you had the dog leave for a second, I'm still like, I don't trust it. Like the dog like
Yeah.
went invisible. I don't trust that the dog is not there anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm showing you things, not telling you. So,
The one thing
yeah.
I was wondering is like whether like and I was thinking about chatting with you, Troy, but like is there anything that we would have wanted to like look for in terms of like what we might be able to buy anything there that would like be helpful for like I noticed what did I cast? Mending says I need 2 lodestones. I don't actually know if I have 2 lodestones, but I don't know if there's
You
other
can
stuff we
get
would
2
want to
lodestones here. Yeah.
look around.
Most of the material components for Reg's stuff are covered by his arcane focus. It's just
Right.
the things that have a cost associated. So like the pearl for
Yeah, I was gonna
identify I
say,
needed,
there's-
but I
You
don't
got
think I
that?
have anything else. Yeah, I think I got that now.
I would love to be able to have 300 gold pieces worth of diamonds. I don't know if we're gonna find them here, but
You know a guy, though. Yeah, we'll see if you can find them here. That's a good question. I thought a lot about, like, what kind of weird stuff would they have here and what is this community like? And, yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, they're like artisans. Like, they got their food thing down, they got their water thing down, and then what? Like, they're not really under, like, actual peril or threat. So, like, they have
and they're
this
not
guard.
actively trading, right?
Right.
Like they're
Yeah.
subsisting and then arting.
They're like, yeah, they're like completely like insulated and like contained, right? They're like this enclosed like community that is able to provide everything they need for themselves. And so like art, right? Like entertainment, like I think like it's like flourished, you know? Yeah. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's a real like fun thing. The whole like thought exercise of like, what is this planet? What is that planet? What is this planet? You know. So yeah.
The part of me that enjoys combat is bummed that we didn't jump into the portal today. But the part of me that like wants to not be like painted into a corner narratively is very happy that we didn't. Right.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think this is a really great position because for one of the first time, not necessarily the first, but like we're at a very explicit spot of like, okay, we've like engaged with these people. We can like go to the folks who weren't here this week, kind of tell them like this is what happened and this is where we are. Like some group of us have like volunteered to go into the ethereal plane, whatever you want to call it, and be like, well, who wants to go? So I think there's like real fun there to like see what the team next week ends up looking like or whatever. Yeah.
Great.
Cool. Very cool. I really enjoyed this tonight, you guys. I hope this was fun for you. I hope this was fun for the viewers. Certainly a lot of relevant information about this strange space that we're playing D&D in. So
Fred Cynic lore drop. My goodness.
I know I couldn't remember where I knew Fred Cynic from, like whether it was from the stuff we had done or it was like I thought like I had just missed the name drop earlier in an episode, and I was like, oh no, that's absolutely a name that Josh Wigler invented.
Yeah, Fred Cynic is a Josh Wigler contribution to the history of our world. The guy named Fred Cynic who blew up his own ship and fled with the orbs, which probably in retrospect he swallowed, I guess, now that we're
a human variant?
Yeah,
Fred
hard
Cynic?
to say. Hard to say. Who even knows? Cool. This was fun, you guys. So, what's everybody got going on this week? Grace, what's your deal? What are you recording? A billion podcasts. What do you got? What should we be paying attention to?
Hold Up Podcast 1P. We talked about Glenn or Glenda this past week, and we're talking about the first episode of Survivor next week, so that's fun. And then we're going on a little break. We both have a lot of stuff coming up, so we're taking a little break, so that'll be the end of our that season. We also did like a crossover podcast with Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. We talked about Mrs. Doubtfire.
Nice.
So that should be coming out shortly. That should be fun. Shout out to Jess Sterling when she inevitably watches this episode. I'm doing
Jess.
Hi, Jess.
Yeah, post-show recaps theater. New episodes should be coming out soon. We talk about some movies that came out in August. Candyman, Free Guy, and Coda, which was on Apple TV+. Plus. That should be fun. A new James Bond podcast should drop soon on the post-show recaps Patreon feed. We're talking about The Spy Who Loved Me with Zach Brooks and Fitzy behind the curtain, so that should be great. And then, I don't think it's too late if you didn't catch the Black Widow Brigade silent podcast I did. Check that out because it was really fun to talk about the first 4 episodes of Black Widow Brigade, which I'm sure somebody else will tell you what
They
that
had some
is.
hot takes about somebody on this show about what they were and what they were doing.
Yeah, Josh Wigler's a leprechaun. Hashtag Josh Wigler's a leprechaun.
I heard. He needs his pot of gold. That's why he won't leave the Dragonfly anymore. He's actually got a pot of gold under the bed.
He's always wearing a green top hat. It's all the time. That guy. He's a leprechaun, I think.
Yeah, I can't believe nobody's actually like put that
Yeah.
connection together
I
before.
know.
But like way to Holmes it out. There.
I got it. I figured it out. All right,
Good
that's
stuff.
all I got going on.
Go follow Grace on Twitter. That's way too much stuff for me to post links of. So you should go follow her and pay attention to all that stuff because it's super cool stuff. Kurt, what do you got going on?
I cede my time to the other 2 players because I don't have anything going on in my life.
Great.
Well, you do. You have 3 streams a week that you do here at Twitch TV/DM Philly, and we love you for it. So thank you for that. But ceding the time to Melissa Woodward, what do you got going on?
Yeah, podcasting for the PSR Patreon for YA with Kevin Mahadeo. We are talking about the Hunger Games right now. So coming out on Friday is Mockingjay Part 1. We recently released a 3-hour coverage of Catching Fire with guest Ariel, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, check us out. And then starting to talk about what's coming up in October, and I am not thrilled. It's going to be, I think, very funny. So yeah, check it out, patreon.com/pushshowrecaps.
Which is all very cool stuff. I was trying to figure out what to watch last night as I was going to sleep, and I was telling Grace this, and I saw that Monty Python is on Netflix, and the Holy Grail, of course, and was about to put it on because for those out there, we're going to be doing like a Holy Grail D&D game. Grace and Melissa are like co-DMing it over a post-show recaps, and I get to play in it, so I'm like beside myself delighted for that. But I pivoted at the last second and was like, oh, the Hunger Games is here. And I have yet to like go back and like catch the way. And I'm just like, man, this is it. This is what I needed. So I think that like I'm there. I'm about to like binge some YA in the next, I think, week of my life, Melissa. And I'm like so excited about it.
Amazing. I think it's worth the time. This is the thing. It's like, I was actively discouraging people who were like, oh yeah, I'm watching Twilight because you're podcasting about it. But
Yes.
The Hunger Games is like a good watch. I would encourage it.
Yeah.
So.
It's fun. Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. And that was the thing. Like Twilight, I've watched way more times than I want to admit in a public space, so I'll do it here on the internet. And I just couldn't rally to like rewatch it. I'm like, I'm not going to rewatch it like yet. Maybe I will. Maybe. But the Hunger Games, I like think I'm ready. It's been a long time. I think I'm ready for it. I think I'm ready. Yeah.
Great.
Anyway, go follow Melissa Woodward on Twitter also because she's got stuff going on. Troy, what about you?
I don't have much of anything to promote. Most anything that you would hear from me is might appear on the Dungeons and Dragons and Discord stream of post-show recaps patron feed. But that's all like maybe future ideation type things. So nothing concrete. Here's what I'll say. If you happen to be in the chat right now, you haven't chatted before. If you're maybe a lurker, say hello. We'd like to just say hello to you. If you are in the future watching us, and you know maybe you've gotten here to episode 15, you know we named a character Seed today, the plant. So I'm gonna plant the seed. Say if there's anyone who gets here, and especially to this like post credits promotional time, tweet at DM Philly, and say I'm at episode 15. Because I guarantee you he'll want to hear from you and welcome you on the ride and the journey.
I will. And if you tweet at me and tell me you're at episode 15 or episode 2 or episode 3 or watching Kings of Neon or Firelight Tales or anything else that I have anything to do with, I will be delighted and very happy to like talk to you about D&D role-playing games or television or any number of arbitrary and ridiculous nerdy things that we probably have in common because you're here. Listening to this. So yeah, hit me up on the Twitter
for sure. Other than that, that's your homework. Other than that, be nice to other people, be kind. We're wrapping up the summer, coming into fall. It's gonna be wild. So yeah, it's spooky season coming up. Everyone in the States.
Spooky season coming up indeed. Yeah, I guess that just leaves me. I am DM Philly. This is what I do. I'm Rich Filiberto. I like run games and make content, and I do some podcasting. The Dungeons and Dragons Discord podcast, post show recaps, Patreon feed coming back strong. We're looking to record a live episode this weekend with Jess Sterling, the aforementioned, and Josh and Will, and that's going to be a ton of fun. And from there, I'm going to be looking to like ramp it up to a weekly basis. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of people that I'm really excited to work with. I think we're probably going to be alternating some type of space between like actual play games as a podcast and like discussions, long form discussions. We've had a lot of people tell us they really enjoy the like fireside chat type stuff that we do here and the conversations that we have over a post show recap. So like, let's record them and put them out into the world and see what people have to say about them. So I'm really excited about that. Sunday nights, you can catch Kings of Neon here where we play City of Mist, the City of Mist role-playing game. It's like become one of my favorites. You can see Kurt there and a handful of the other people that are on this stream. It's a ton of fun. We're in season 2 there, episode 5, and it's getting interesting. And usually on some Monday nights at 9 p.m. we do Firelight Tales, the Titans Heirs. That's coming to a close. That's like a great D&D game, very traditional kind of overworld survival game inspired by JRPGs of the 90s. It's a really good time. And yeah, just keep your eyes and ears out. We will be back here at Twitch TV /GM Philly tomorrow night at 8 p.m. That's the correct time. I can say it correctly when I don't have to write it down, where we will be doing the Wand-Offs live. And if you don't know what the Wand-Offs are, all I could tell you is that they're going to be a bunch of song parodies about our thriving, living 70-person West Marches campaign that all of us play and run and like contribute in together. So if you're into D&D and you're into silly songs, like be here tomorrow night. It's going to be a good freaking time. I'm really excited about that. And that's pretty much it. If you're in the chat and you haven't said hello, thank you for being there. I really appreciate you. It like means a lot to me. If you're in the chat and you're talking, thank you for doing it. Like I do this full time. Like I said, any kind of follow or sub or just being here, retweeting the links, all this stuff like makes a huge difference in my like day-to-day life. So thank you guys all for doing any number of those things in whatever configuration you've come up with. It's awesome. And with that, I think that we will say goodbye.
Love it. Good night. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.